This is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Special prosecutor Yewa Kiseja Bay afre essential for issue. Na utini some more Kenya Kevin tell us say hey onya bibia Ofori Atta ho. Ofori Atta case no ntimi fa nkosi bia enti de o Kenya na say yema na time. Kevin tell come short. Osisa kwa we. Saf Kiseja Bay no. Some people for the nisi ho say ombo na omuntimi ma corruption kosoro eti wo hwe oman ya corruption ayekun nyina Kiseja Bay ne yekun Kiseja Bay is the corruption Ghana yekun hu sisia eno bibi sasa na Kevin Taylor kasa o se fi se yede ni si ho se onkuntia corruption why na wo hu se wa prosecute no ama ya ji sika pa bo Ghana why Kevin Taylor say abrofo na Chinese for na national omo hu se sesi agala me say no muntimi ye enti no omo wura mo the market no omo ano machine ma yen fan shop ya omo ano machine ma me no sun kwa Chinese na no sun kwa omo san twa mo akwa billions wo yen banks wo because omo say Ghana system ni weak
b Kiseja Bay and the Obeye press conference, the OSP of Ghana. This man is called Kiseja Bay. Obeye press conference and over 2 hours and Obekain a year brofo etre Ghana for. Now the OSP Beka Che a year assembly or catcher recently said he's going to respond or he will be responding to a year issues surrounding the Ofori Atta extradition. Any other matters na account about his collaboration with the Attorney General, about a year, a Juma on year investigations are on year, and what brought about this? All these started when because of a document to be better Ghana for say the OSP Kiseja Bay is a liar, and the earlier we accept or start to prepare ourselves to get the Attorney General to take over the case is a OSP Hono. We will all be disappointed at the end of the day. And the Kiseja Bay is the biggest scam, is the biggest lie, is the biggest comedy show me as a young man, a Ghanaian. It is the biggest antics, the biggest gymnastics. It is the biggest comedy session I've witnessed for a year, all the years I've lived on this planet. Over the years, you in Kofua omye jokers, you comedians, you people who pretend, you people who always want to be smart, people who basically are pretenders, people who in their own senses say they can fool everybody all the time. And what the OSP Kiseja Bay exhibited this afternoon in Ghana on national television should tell every single Ghanaian said this guy is one dangerous human being we are not supposed to rely on. And if we are all watching tonight, every single Ghanaian, after listening to Kiseja Bay this afternoon, we need to now prepare our mind to have a better state agency that is ready to fight corruption, to take over the corruption cases in Ghana from Ekufuado's era till this time. Because if we are going to rely on Kiseja Bay, then it means to say the fight against corruption Yajin say his office is going to do anything about it, we are fooling or we will be fooling ourselves to believe that. It is not in my place to decide whether Kiseja Bay keeps his job or sacked. So Busamia, I'll tell you, I don't need him as a special prosecutor. But as a nation, we need to start thinking of looking at other avenues that we can believe and trust to do what? Fight corruption. Because Kiseja Bay, as we can see from his utterances, his deliberate acting, his comedy that he has been putting up all this while and climaxing it up to this afternoon in Ghana, we have no hope working with Kiseja Bay in fighting against corruption. Yeah. And I'm going to prove to you why. I'm going to take my time. Because Can you cut this piece, the ones I sent you? Can you cut all the pieces and put on the background for me? And the Kisieja being by the kind brofu bebria na minim say, and I'm sure pa say 99% of Ghana for mutie no, he fooled them in his head. Nani trimuno, he had a strategy, and the strategy was that let me go in, let me talk plenty, and avoid the most important thing. The reason why in Tiana a few weeks ago we were all over this roof, we were all over our voice speaking and shouting was because we wanted Kisieja Bin to do one thing. And there was only one thing we were all asking, because you would say Kisieja Bin na. At the end of the day, we will all tell ourselves say we have made progress when it comes to extraditing Ofori Atta to face a Ghana court for us to know where they have to be put. So it does not matter Kisieja been staying on air for 10 hours, TV for 2 hours. It was a simple question we all asked this guy. This guy is a pure actor. He is a slimy actor. Ordinary one of those people, my Christianity is dangerous. So who Kisieja been now who wa bam wa one Kisieja been a dangerous human being. And the reason why I say that is because he knows how to maneuver. Even today in his presser, he tried to, at the end of the day, put the Attorney General in a position whereby it will be difficult for the Attorney General to even be asking him questions again. And that is how smart and diabolic this dangerous guy is. The reason why I say he's dangerous is that he's dangerous because before he makes any move, he knows the consequences that's coming. He first of all deals with the consequences because he knows the possible questions that will come. So psychologically, he is a Ghanaian on the Ghana for Nyini. Jimmy, and he knows how to get into our mind. And that is what Kisieja been displayed, exhibited today on national television for 2 hours. Now, I laughed throughout the whole 2 hours because I took my time to listen to his comedy. So now take Kisieja ben and say Kisieja ben eton ade amawa onima de kura oton. What you are seeing on TV, that is the same thing Kisieja ben did today. Or the two or the nyama mienu chiro no ma ton mienu na ma onima de mpo a oton ama. But unim the trimuno onim de oton ama. But Obama wa adwere o say onim de oton. What Kisieja ben did today was rehashing or going back or remixing this press conference awaye nyina besin. Kisieja bin today did not introduce any new thing to Ejuma awaye. The $50.5 million that we have spent on his office, Kisieja bin today could not justify that money we have given to him. You see, sir, after listening to him, most of you, Ghana for Bibrika say, na kwa who you see Jimmy ana, and that is on the lips of people who, with all due respect, at a point, he used figures, numbers, words to convince even the foolish middle class for them to think, say, he is presenting something new. What Kisieja bin did today on national television for 2 hours, it was pure comedy. It was a remix of what he has done already. There was nothing new in what Kisieja bin did today. This nigga B, or a dangerous guy. Now, we are going to go into Adia and the Oyeye. Now, if Ube say Kisieja bin is not somebody we can trust to lead an investigation. Ofori Atta Abafie. Today, he did something. And what did he do? Oye press conference in Ube Busa will say, okay, and then Emma Kisieja being a press conference about 2-3 things. The reason why our press conference in Ghana say Attorney General actual letter ekoma Kisieja being after Kisieja being actual letter comma at a office of the president through the chief of staff's office say oh here a way or a green light to go and bring Ofori Atta in. And a chief of staff can say enye mejuma a Attorney General juma. And Attorney General Cho letter come Kisieja beka che Kisieja being. You know something? Ye nyoma be mienu miensa pe firi ho. Ye nsaka sa nyoma na whatever assistance you were asking from the Jubilee House, no, we have it. We will give you to extradite Ken Ofori Atta to Ghana. That's it. And nyoma ben na eye Attorney General Ebusa Kisiagya ben. Obusa no catch and say, one, or say, offer a copy of the docket in its current state. Onfambre eye dien or no Attorney General. Or catch and say, baby, why investigations need rubiano? For sa investigations no docket no document ni na fa breme. Or say baby, I would rubia. So it did not matter where Kisiagya being investigations they do. Two, or say an investigative report. Or say investigative report. So baby a waye drubiano sa eno so no fabra. Now onim say sa report no inconclusive. Unwie the investigations and the investigative report ni na unwie no. Or say for our investigators account to assist him to look into it, and if they have to complete it together and take the next step. So all that we as Ghanaians through the Attorney General, we were asking Kisiagya and Nyoma Miensape, investigative report, docket, and adding 2 investigators to go and conclude everything with the Attorney General. That's all. Enti na Kisiagya na ye Kisiagya to come and tell us the Obekan in. But let me open your mind on something. Ehona miwia na machro azan Kisiagya yen in there. You cannot trust him because he's playing Ghana. He has taken $50.5 million. He still cannot account for the $50.5 million. He still cannot account for it. Now, Shadebia and they see, let me read a few of the things he spoke about today. Now, so we study Kisiagya means some of the kind in the or say we start investigations be. I mean, the top from Ghana for. Now investigations, no. Can Ofori Atta ne aban mu nipa bi ete company bi. Na omo te company no, na company no sebio enkrata ne nyira so a e wo se omutumi di dwuma bi e de den egege Ghana revenues. Sa company Ken Ofori Atta mote ye no, ma me body to farmer PZ for. Also omo te company bi a omo de be kire PPA say, oh company we de omo ye ne say omo boa e ma aban etumi gege eto ne yie. Enti sa company ne Ghana Revenue Authority ye dwuma bebi a ye gege ye to nyina afri no ye betuma gege eto no ekwan so a ebeye hyew a emu bedawa Ghana benya sika dodo. Na time Ken Ofori Atta this company no ko kire eye PPA no. PPA ka say sa company we eni ngina so eni experience eni de kire say betuma di sa dwuma de no. Na sa time Ken Ofori Atta eye sa de no na company bi wo hodada edi sa dwuma no ma Ghana. Sa company no 2015 and almost started di sa dwuma no. Now de na won wo mu nyina ne say Ken Ofori Atta first company no de koye no. Ohun say yanji antum no PPA or the corner yanji antum no and osako change company ni din or man ni pebisa change company ni din ebe na SML. Now they see and say onim say SML no omuni experience biem omuni experience sa nyoma na omo de call PPA procurement public procurement authority ye deny say ye ntumi fa contract no omo no Ken Ofori Atta na onim say sa new company na was a rebranding no old one a we rebranding no onim say ekoho a omesa pam no into the oye and say company na ene Ghana Revenue Authority GRA eye adwuma eboa ma yagege eto no every different avenues government institutions e de ekoto ye no oma one GRA mpenifo ne ka omuti bon ho ena omo force company ne say ono ne new company na what na any experience no engineer sa companies ne kon ho na se bi omo so engige sika omo gege eto di bi. Remember, Ghana mrane kire say e was a PPA ema wo ho kwan say company bi kurampo ebenya contract bi a eya ban contractor eya nipa oya GR boss no entumi for ono ane pe ema sa company the contract Ken Ofori Atta nim sa nti ene GR boss for no mo nim sa nti de omo ye ene say omo ka say eya company na 2015 na omo contractor also omo gege eto na ye rekoto ye no omo ka say sa company no omo force ne say omo for the contract ni bi ema Ken Ofori Atta company no na omo so engineer no kon ho na omo gege sika ni bi. Na nyame ampe bone na sa company na omo ne aban eye adwuma dada no na omo contract na ebe end. Na de won say omo force ye edi Ken Ofori Atta company no esi sa company ne kon ho. Atiase e na omo so edi dwuma na emfa emrakwa mu. In fact, sa company na omo ye dwuma pa na ye de Ken Ofori Atta company ne si omo kon ho say omo ngi sika ni bi no. Sa company na omo mpene so. but GR mpenifo mobile and the Kufuado, omu nyina ne Ofori Atta ka omuti bon ho, and omu de sa company no share company that no concert by force, uni omu nye adwuma. Now, jena hu awasem nyina mu ne say, konenim no, sa company na sebio omu di dwuma ansana, Ofori Atta ye force the company abeshom kono, omu contract na expire. And it's a company the contract expire. That means say Ofori Atta company na esisa company ni kono automatically omu the company na also omu free contract nim. Nanso de na one say Ofori Atta company na ye share company ni kono say ono ne ngigi sika no. Sa company no contract na expire no, Ofori Atta company de contract na expire. Omu the contract na ema Ofori Atta company na PPA for nim, Ghana ban nim, parliament nim. Ena GR mpenifo ne Ofori Atta tena ase ena omo term contract no edema Ofori Atta company na company dwumadie be na omo di so wo hwe dwumadie omo di ne potia na Ghana eto a ye gigi no wo mbiambia te se airport temaport immigration sa eto na ye gigi no wo nyina no omo na omo wo enusuade hu a omo tumi de gigi sa eto no nyina yie to yie ma ye rekoto Bank of Ghana. Now edidim bedum pempenso bi ehun say GR mpenifo ni nyina ne Ofori Atta ka omutiri bon ho ena na omu use sa company we illegally ena omu de gi Ghana eto no etua Ofori Atta de the company ne ka bobre a odisika fa ho enti sa wode wani tum pa na wo hwa Ofori Atta ege contract no illegally company ni illegal impenifo mo man ho kwan man run it company no anyina no enso were part of the illegality and na omu wiaye enti OSP so beka kire ndani nyina no brofo tintin ni nyina no na o ka kire say Ofori Atta ene nipa bi ene ball kro no eno ano no en ade we ade a OSP aka kire dadaada yenim enya ade foforo enti ende so we check news talking point now you see this. After the name change from SMEL, first company na Ofori Atta de koya na yan jantum near from SMEL. Owie no ko change din na SML. After the name change from SMEL to SML, the revenue assurance contract was taken from West Blue Ghana Limited and awarded to the newly incorporated firm. Inti West Blue Ghana Limited no. Omo ni company a na sebio omo ho kwan se omo gigi sa eto no. But Ofori Atta de SMEL koya na yan jantum no. Osabe yi ni firo eno de SML ba ya oni GR mpenifo edi contract no by force omde be see West Blue for kon ho say mo by force mo di Ofori Atta enye dwuma we afi what you say now after that no they see and say when in sama OSP beka kire ye nim ni nyina dada ensam foforo bi amaye. I am trying to give you an idea of azan any lies papa we be twa kire mo ne. I see GRA and SML deal was a masterful and mischievously crafted scheme by Ofori Atta. I see sa GRA omni SML for deal na omu kuki no na eyadea omu tina ho etwinwene ni ye edisisi kwan mu a omu yoma se omu bom timu po ewia Ghana ska. This is not new. This has been there already. The first press conference or kan sansem we nyina rundown nyina maaye. Enti this is not new. And then better now in the kind of 2 hours. No? Now, Special Prosecutor Sakachere say over 1.4 billion was paid to SML without proper monitoring or evaluation. It's the main thing in say. At the end of the day, Attorney General can say, Sanyoma Wejina Fabreno in its current form. But my mention tricky be. On say Special Prosecutor Ekasandeno. So what study SML for no ejuma also mo yankasa. Yes, so mo yede bibi a friend of revenue assurance. That means say juma na Ofori Atta ejuma kuo no edi nyina no say yeto no omo begege no kwan paso hyew so se na akrono bia mbema ye betumenya enough eto revenue e de ato se oman. So we study special prosecutor and some o kan nyina. Ni nyina started from 2017 all the way to 2024. Now, baby, SML for edi sika pa no between 2017 and 2020. Now, you see, Ofori Atta company na was say company na revenue assurance. Yet for na omutumi gigi. Now, Ofori Atta sa avenues are not ojiji etuo ni nyina through SML no. There was a way he was supposed to get his money. Now, he couldn't take the money from those places. He needed to follow the money and take his commission before the money ends up at Bank of Ghana. Remember, yajiji Ghana 20 nyina free port. Tema. Yajiji nyina free nyina ended up at Ghana Commercial Bank. Edu Ghana Commercial Bank pay entina ho na Bank of Ghana. Uraga Bank of Ghana and one consolidated accounts edem. Now, can Ofori Atta news say, or yes, say you nyina illegally wajiji etuo nyina na baby a obeji etuo bia the commission that so through the SML company no. So he needed to chase the money. Now, ojiji etuo nyina no in 2020, sa sika na your friend revenue ni nyina no ekodi Ghana Commercial Banker. Na Ghana wa accounts be your friend the slip accounts. Se sika ni nyina revenue nyina koduru ho na revenue na eden a slip ko na koto Bank of Ghana. Muka say 2020. Mebeka kire mo say sa expose we am here in 2020. Meka kire mo say eye 52 billion every Ghana Commercial Bank. Na sa sika na Auditor General, former Auditor General Dumelivo ye no. Sa sika na Bank of Ghana na nka wo say e free ho Bank of Ghana no 52 billion 52.5 billion was missing. Yehu be a fire. Now, so we read the Auditor General's report now or trophy asika no ho. There is a particular place it will give you a sense why Ofori Atta's name or the finance minister's name was mentioned. Mama chiro. And it's na Ofori Atta epese oye a revenue assurance contract. No, he knew what he was doing. Or did revenue ni nyina he would chase the money all the way to Bank of Ghana, Ghana Commercial Bank, take his cut before the money slips into Bank of Ghana. It will read the transfer of tax revenues by GCB to unknown source. So you see the unknown source. Now read here. Letter no was the 5th of October 2020. Now akabe 2 months nya kotwaba 52 billion 52.5 billion rai. Yehu SML ne fast askano. And it's be seen there. Omubuso say sikana fahin almost say unknown source. Ofori Atta SML. And anomu revenue assurance no. Omujiji revenue now. Because Ofori Atta wanted a way to be able to get close to the money. He only needed to build that what we call special purpose vehicle in the name of SML. The moment he puts that company together, that company is in charge of revenue assurance. It will make him as the finance minister, it will give him the opportunity to follow the money. Now, he's not following the money in the interest of Ghana. Ofori Atta is following the money in the interest of SML. But because he's the finance minister, when he talks to Ghana Commercial Bank, they need to listen to him. It is as he can do Ghana Commercial Bank. No? So we read the Auditor General's report now. Ubehu Bebia, a man who said Ofori Atta took that money in the name of SML because of call it revenue assurance. Revenue assurance, no, and the springboard or the propeller. It will be manikunya saskano. Into here, Regulation 12 of the Financial Administration Regulation FAR 2004 stipulates, and I quote, Auditor General Dinkan Koti emra nipa sikani kodi ninsem no wafom ansana waka diesi. Into check findings now. Paragraph 1. Or say a person entrusted with custodial duties of public and trust monies shall protect public and trust monies against the unlawful diversion from their proper purposes and against accidental loss, and locate such money so as to facilitate the efficient and economical discharge of public financial business. End of quote. Auditor General will say, answer no be audit be odin kan quote to act na kire say the aban sika sha wonsem na so wan hweso ye na e wo se be bia wo se kona anko a emra ane ubedi. Now we read this second paragraph ra e ho e na kire say SML Ofori Atta edi eche no kwaji 52 billion no. Into we study paragraph 2 now. This is what it says. Mami enlarge paragraph 2 no. It will be easy for us to read. Over here. You see the paragraph 2? Let's read it together. The Ministry of Finance, in its quest to improve government revenue, engaged your service for the collection of tax revenue across the nation. Into Auditor General can say, Ghana Commercial Bank, the Ministry of Finance, in its quest to improve government revenue, engaged your services for the collection of tax revenue across the country. To ascertain the integrity of the banking arrangement, we conducted a reconciliation of the flow of funds from the transit accounts into the designated Bank of Ghana holding accounts. Our examination of the transit account bank statement in relation to tax revenue showed that your bank, contrary to agreement for the funds to be transferred into designated Bank of Ghana holding account, transferred a total of 52.5 billion into unknown sources over the under review. The table below provides a summary of type of revenue transferred to unknown sources. The table below provides a summary of type of revenue transferred to unknown source, the details of which is provided in our web. Where I want you to pay attention is the second paragraph, the 2 lines. The Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance, in its quest to improve government revenue, engaged your service for the collection of tax revenue across the nation. It is not in the place of the Finance Ministry to engage Ghana Commercial Bank or any a revenue collection agency in collecting revenues. It is for Finance Minister to engage Ghana Commercial Bank. The Finance Minister was chasing that revenue. And Nitina Dumelivo Busa almost say, what is the Finance Ministry doing in this transaction? Because collect all the revenue, dump it at Ghana Commercial Bank, let it slip into Bank of Ghana. Why is the Finance Minister following? Because it's not the duty, the responsibility of the Finance Minister to follow the money and ensure that revenue mobilization and collection is effective. No, the Bank of Ghana, Ghana Commercial Bank, and the revenue authorities, Ghana Revenue Authority, they have to coordinate with Ghana Commercial Bank to send that money to Bank of Ghana. But in this report, the Finance Minister, the Finance Ministry, which was led by the Finance Minister, Ofori Atta, led the charge. Inti eho, and an ebu say 52 billion, where did it end? And I'm saying unknown source. Where is the unknown source? The unknown source in 2020 was SML. So you see, it is a study. Now, when you look at the revenue that came in, her revenue now, SML, you see, this is the document. Let me show you. When you read the oh, I'm sorry, it just disappeared. Oh man, okay, I'm in trouble. Now, when you read the document, this is what you see. These are the revenues I'm collecting at the end of the day. Ofori Atta disappear into the unknown source. The Finance Ministry was following the revenue. Why? Why should the Finance Minister be following revenue that has been collected, which automatically has to go to Ghana Commercial Bank? What was his reason for following that money? The reason for following that money was because his SML at that time were the ones collecting the revenues. And he knew that his share was in there. He had to go there as the Finance Minister, acting as in charge of the ministry to take 52.5 billion Ghana cedis. Now, IRS, direct transit, IRS Nkwa, number of transactions, 1,180. Sika na fire 17.4 billion. VAT indirect, 18 billion. VAT communication service transit account, 107 million. SEPS GC net revenue, and also 10 million. EPI customs account, 1 billion. SEPS petroleum. So these were all the revenues, sir. SML boy and Ofori Atta followed it all the way to Bank of Ghana, Ghana Commercial Bank, and took the money. And International Auditor General Dumelivo Ebusa Ofori Atta any Ghana bank say, Obusa Ghana Commercial Bank say, what was the Finance Ministry? What is their role in this? What is their role? Because okay, second paragraph now, it made it clear, say, the Ministry of Finance in its quest, it is in the ministry's quest, the Ministry of Finance in its quest to improve government revenue engaged your services for the collection of tax revenue across the country. It so study the ministry, at the end of the day, is not supposed to be involved in this. The finance ministry is not supposed to be involved in this. But because Ofori Atta wanted to enter Ghana Commercial Bank, he knew that he had to take his cut. SML had to take their money. That money that went to Ghana Commercial Bank, 52 billion, went to unknown source. Till date, we are asking, unknown source, anything. The former Ghana Commercial Bank manager, that man who was the manager there, is supposed to tell us where that 52 billion went. That man is supposed to be picked up by Yoko. He needs to answer those questions. That the unknown source, where is the unknown source? Unknown source ni ahefa. Ehina unknown source ni wo. You for Ghana revenue now at Commercial Bank to just transfer it to Bank of Ghana, and you tell us, say, the money went to unknown source. The man who was the head of Ghana Commercial Bank needs to answer question, because a Kurobia man kasa man Kobeko jail. Yoko needs to invite that man, bring this document out and say, under your watch, 52.5 billion of Ghana money revenue went to unknown source. Can you elaborate? How did it get to unknown source? Who and who were in charge of the money? When the money came or the money dropped at Ghana Commercial Bank, who signed it? Who were the people in charge to make sure the exact money that came from the revenue collection agencies, it's not tampered with, and that it goes through to a Bank of Ghana? So who tampered with the money? And what the unknown source is where? So you understand. Now, mommy and come back to the reason why I'm here when me say, can Ofori Atta SML not these are some of the damages he did. Now, mommy and come back to the actor, Kisieja Ben. Now, Obibe Busa say Kisieja Ben, the press conference and then Nyansa Ben, what was he asking? Kisieja Ben was playing games with you people. Kisieja Ben was lying to you people. Kisieja being the OSP is one of the best actors at Ghana in our history. The press conference a man we hear, it was nothing. And let me tell you this. I see nipebi ena omuka ena Ofori Atta ewi Ghana sika. Now odi nipa we mu nyina edin ebetutu TV so say papa your friend Kenel Damwa now or your former customs commissioner MP for German South. Kenel Damwa na mebo the video waha ni audio waha na Ofori custom officer lady Bikache de say oil be aba port wo na sa oil no pirated oil. Na mema ne emun lock it because Jubilee House dia bokai man way. And the retire free customs no otumi di sika no pre-seat into a parliament, parliamentary immunity. Today is an investigations. I was say Alban Bagbin. Ekache say he should vacate his seat. Now, Uncle Tenefie, after the investigations are done, if he is clean, he can come back to Parliament, because we can't have a potential criminal making laws for us. As we speak, Kenel Damwa is a potential criminal. He's under criminal investigations, and he does not have to sit in Parliament as an MPP MP to be making laws for us. This man needs to go home and wait until the investigations are done, because we cannot have a potential thief, an experienced potential thief, to be sitting in Parliament making laws for us. We cannot allow that. And if Alban Bagbin, he's saying he's honest and patriotic as he always preaches, he needs to call this guy and tell him, go home. We cannot have you, because your presence here in this Parliament basically tells the world that we are condoning criminality until you are cleared. You cannot sit in my Parliament. But if Alban Bagbin refuses to do that, then Alban Bagbin himself needs to see himself like Kenel Damwa, because he is entertaining and condoning criminality in Parliament. Kisieja Bebekaja said, these are the men who basically, through the investigation he's done, Omni Ofori Atta area Ghana ska. Into some man we your friend Kenel Damwa or be charge no. Your baba asem no so. Or some man we so another criminal. Kisieja Ben ne accomplices no ebieni. Papa we your friend Emmanuel Kofinti or your former commissioner GRA. Or some man we ka ho and or sign documents ni nyina boa Ofori Atta emani wi Ghana. Enti papa we so nipa or ba be charge no. 3. Or say papa we your friend Amisha Dai Owusu Amwa. Or say former commissioner general GRA ɔna na ɛyɛ boss ɔse papa we so na ɔka ho ɛna ɔne Ofori Atta ɛne ɔmo ɔmaka no ɛhyɛ kuntu na se ɛde SML no ɛbɔ Ghana korɔ no nti we so ɔbɛkyaagye no so ɔyɛ krɔmfoɔ man we yɛfrɛ no ɛyɛ Isaac Krenzel mikromu fantinyi ɔyɛ former customs commissioner later GM to of SML owie ɛyɛ ne custom adwuma no SML fa ne adwuma as the senior boss ɛwɔ saa company na ɔboɔ mo ma ɔmo dupi ɛyɛ Ghana for no per the auditor general ɔse man we so yɛ krɔmfoɔ a ɔbɛhwehwɛ ne nsɛm mu ɔmo nyinaa yɛ Ekufuado appointees now ɔsase man we yɛfrɛ no ɛyɛ Ernest Akori ɔse man we so ɛyɛ potential criminal ɔno so yɛ another person a na ɔka ho ɔno so na ɔyɛ ɛyɛ chef de cabinet to Ofori Atta yɛka sɛ chef de cabinet ɛte sɛ sɛbio ɛyɛ obi bɛka sɛ ei wei deɛ ne twɛtwɛ mutwo wei ɛna otua no wɔtiem wei deɛ sɛ wobɛ sɛ woku nipa a wobɛ sɛ woku Ofori Atta wei na wɔ sɛ wode aduro no ma no yɛfrɛ no chef de cabinet ɔne deɛ Ofori Atta bɛno wine koraa ɔno ne di nka ntwa so na ɔde sɛ wɔ se Ken ɛyɛ wei deɛ poison nim wei Ofori Atta ne boko sua tafreɛ ɔmo de gufoɔ no ka trema fa ho ɔno enso yɛ nipa bi a ohun ni sɛ ɔno so ɛka ho ɛna Ofori Atta ɛbɔ Ghana korɔ no edi yɛ dwirim nti ɔno so ɔbɛkyaagye no ɛwɔ ɛyɛ saa korɔ no wɔ mu chef de cabinet ne din chef de cabinet ayɛ sɛ wine a ɛfiri France ɛde sɛ ebi a wine papa bi a ahyɛ ɛyɛ selamu akyɛ chef de cabinet ɔno so ɛno no yɛsɛ korɔ no ɔbɔ mu ma ne to tete ɔno so ɛka ho now the interesting thing about this whole thing ɛyɛ Kisi Jame bɛyɛ ne nyinaa ne sɛ ɛndɛ obɛgyina TV so a na ne ho popo ne to sesa a ɔyɛ concert a ne ho nyinaa popo a na no popo a na onim sɛ ɔdi atorɔ fa ne hwene mu no 90% of Ghanaians a na ɔmo hwɛ show ne nyinaa na sɛ ɔmo hwɛ Kisi Jame comedy show ne nyinaa ne sɛ they wanted Kisi Jame to tell us sɛ my investigations are bedru ha intend make a check Ghana for say edwuma ma yɛ nie me the paper way, krata way, air comma, Attorney General. That is all that we're waiting for as Ghanaians. Now, the most interesting thing is, Odru baby na I was say or can't say or the Ofori Atta bebe fie ana onfanim be fie or the docket to the Attorney General. Now Attorney General activate the extradition no through the US agency, security agencies, you know. This is what he said. Mumianko tie Kisi Jame, take your time and listen to him. He was speaking his words well because no him say Ghana for Jimmy. Now, press conference no almost 3 hours. No, this is the part at the end of the day na important. Dia Kenya na nkwasiasem. Dia Kenya na ode bedada mo. Na nyansa ni ba kumpum. In fact, from my source, what he did today, he had not even prepared it. This was done overnight. All the things he came to tell you, they are not things that he has worked on at the no. They worked on this overnight. The partner na ye hear say Obama ye straightforward answer because Attorney General Busau or say if you have the investigations, send it to me in its current state. Inti the Obakache nyina investigations awaye. When they start to say you don't know my relationship with this person, that is where the corruption starts. Yani Ghana for we don't care about your relationship with Attorney General. You could be his lover. I don't care. You could be somebody who has licked his butt since you finished law school or since he was your teacher. I don't fucking care. What we are talking about here is not about your relationship with Attorney General. What we are talking about here, Kisi Jame, is simple. If you tell us that you were waiting for a document or a docket from your US partners, if you have received those documents on Monday, all the nonsense you were making, we don't care. Why don't you hand over those things that you have now to the Attorney General? Because you see, Kisi Jame Kasa the whole day, he still did not answer the question from the Attorney General. He still did not answer any of the questions from us. The question from us was, when are you going to hand over the docket to the Attorney General? Because the Attorney General catcher was say, hand over the docket in its current form. That is all. He said, hand over the docket, hand over the investigative report in its current form. whether you have received a document from the US, from Asia, the Attorney General is saying, if you want to collaborate, hand over the thing to him and add 2 investigators or prosecutors, let them come for him to sit with them. It is some of the concept in Yinano. What makes you a prosecutor? It shows that Ukraino, you are not up here solid enough to be a prosecutor. Because to make it easy for us, if you are telling us to say you are working and you want to work with the Attorney General is there. You are the same person who told us to say the Attorney General's office and then what the authority to trigger the extradition of Ofori Atta. So it does not matter whatever investigations you do. It does not matter whatever you have gathered at your disposal. He is saying that whatever you have gathered in its current state, give it to him. But also Kisieja being on Kanokre. The 2.5 hours of original TV so that is why we can say he's protecting Ofori Atta. And this guy has made it clear today, say nobody in Ghana can trust such a liar. He's a liar. Yeah. When did he start? When did this investigation start? He needs to tell us. Sir Ofori Atta investigations were starting at Daben. When did he officially start investigating Ofori Atta? They made Ofori Atta slip through their hands. He knew it. Ofori Atta in January to leave the country. They knew. He knew what they were doing. Now, the issue here is, it is a simple question. Question Ebusa ono a year 2-hour response. Your relationship with Attorney General Ghana for you don't care. Whether you lick his butt or he licks your dick, I don't care. What I care about is, are you following the rules and regulations? Because when you went to the Jubilee House, when you wrote a letter to the Jubilee House, the end game was that you wanted permission to extradite Ofori Atta. The Jubilee House said the person who can give you that green light is the Attorney General. And the Attorney General says, bring the docket, bring the investigations in its current form and add 2 investigators so that I can move on. Nyamia on pebone, Monday ya on saso aka information be our chain. Meaning, whatever you had, it has even, you even have more. So what stopped you today from telling Ghana for say, I want to today hand over the investigations in its current form to the Attorney General? What stopped you? You are a liar. The OSP is the one aiding Ofori Atta. He's dilly-dallying. He's playing on your conscience. Oh, Ghana for some way, Jimmy. This man cannot be trusted. And anytime I say, I am not in the position to say sack Ofori Atta by whoever has to sack him. But what I am saying is, we as a nation, we need to start thinking. We cannot hand over an office like this and say, "Sir, office will be to fight corruption." We can't. If the NDC government is going to fail, Kisieja Jabe will lead that failure. Because you see, there's nothing this guy, say, he is ready to hand over the information he has. Right now, he is telling us to say, he is now going to to charge these people November. And psychologically or statical side no or sitting in Attorney General or the Attorney General pa obi an on new school or chair there na Attorney General cry a press conference no. Attorney General can say when it comes to issues like these, criminal investigations, no, it needs time. He needs time. It is not the time you need. It is not Attorney General telling us to say, in criminal investigations, you need time. It's about you handing over the docket and investigations to the Attorney General. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do such a simple thing? Nyame on pebone Monday, also saying a lot of documents from the United States. It even gives you every right to say, whatever I was waiting for, Mensaka, Attorney General at Sum. What stopped this guy from doing that? He is protecting Ofori Atta. All the people he mentioned, Crocodile John, he cannot prosecute any of those 5 people. I'm telling you on authority. Kisieja Jabe cannot prosecute Damwa, Ontumin Jelino, Obwa. He cannot prosecute Brekon. He cannot prosecute Amishadai. He cannot prosecute the 5 people. He's using them to confuse you. Now, are you going to charge Ofori Atta and these 5 people in different courts or in the same court? Because if you are going to charge them all under SML and you put them in one court, when one person is not around, you cannot prosecute. So are you going to put them in different courts and charge them differently? Because what you told us, the investigation is about the 5 people, including Ofori Atta or whatever. Now, are you going to charge them the same way you are charging Ofori Atta? Then if that is going to be the case, then there's no way. Because if these people are going to be charged in the same courtroom, with the same charge sheet, Ofori Atta, so Ghana, you can't jail him. And this is a game he's playing. He has spent $50.5 million since he came into that office. He has not been able to prosecute a chicken. Listen, if Mami Kancho, Ofori Atta, or your old criminal, Ofori Atta, or you're an experienced thief, Mami Kancho, if Kusia Jabin cannot prosecute a Charles Bisu, Kusia Jabin cannot put Charles Bisu in jail. If Kusia Jabin cannot put Paul Admotre, a thief like this, a small minds like this, in jail, if all those small people, Kusia Jabin could not put them in jail, I swear to God, he cannot put any of these 5 people in jail. He can't. On what basis? How can he do that? How is he going to do it? How is Kusia Jabin going to put? Because let me tell you, these 5 people that I mentioned to you, Damwa, on your small fish, I'm telling you, he has money to defend himself for almost 10 years. Sakana Damwa, we are. Where to be Sikeko Parliament, he has money. He can defend himself for 5 years. Yeah? You see this guy? Kofinti, he was a GRA boss. This guy has money. And he's not a small fish that you can say, Adiachi, my brother November, me the child shit akoto machina tum. You cannot. And this guy who cannot put Charles Bisu in jail, who cannot jail Paul Admotre, this guy cannot jail this guy. I'm telling you on authority. He cannot jail people who used to be commissioners of GRA. He can't. These are people who are holding money. They control. These are not chicken that you can drag and take to court for a judge to mishandle or for any prosecutor to mishandle. These are people who control. So you should see clearly that Kusia Jabin, as the special prosecutor, the fact of the case is that they say he is lying. Whatever he did today is a lie. Now, journalists are call program not sending Busan questions in there. Now here there. Now, Shadia, because now, Shadia. Thank you very much. On Mibusa, Kusia Jabin say, when did he actually start investigating SML? And I'm a boy. I want to say Kusia Jabin, they aided Ofori Atta. They knew they wasted time. If they didn't aid, they wasted time because they knew what they were doing. See, my mentor idea we time Ben or started investigating SML. Ofori Atta to be free Ghana call he could not stop Ofori Atta from leaving because so started investigations at a particular time. Then Ofori Atta wasn't supposed to leave the country. This is January 2024. 2024 January. OSP probes SML and GRA deal. 2024 January. And I'll start investigations. So if you started investigations in 2024 January, how were you able to sit there aloof and allow Ofori Atta to leave the country without stopping him and saying that you are the main suspect? Because that time you had started probing, you had started investigation. So it means you knew that Ofori Atta was guilty from 2024. Because there was no way you started the SML deal without knowing that the finance minister was the integral person in this investigation. From January 2024, you sat down, you took your eye off, you allowed Ofori Atta to put things in order. After 2024, we entered 2025, Ofori Atta left the country. You sat, you did not issue anything. You did not put any ban on Ofori Atta from leaving this country. You sat there, allowed Ofori Atta to leave. The moment he left, you told us that you are telling the Interpol to put a red alert on him. He's a fugitive from justice. You are lying. For a whole year, you sat down, you watched the guy, you had the dockets. My investigations even shows that docket, it has been with you. You started the investigations, you knew everything about Ofori Atta's involvement in the SML. Everything was pointing to Ken Ofori Atta, but you decided to take your eye off because you wanted to create an exit for him to go. The moment he leaves, then you can come and make noise that I want to catch him, I want to catch him, I want to catch him. You knew what you were doing. 2024 January, and I will be a GRA SML deal also, and I will start to probe here. The OSP is a liar. This man, we cannot trust this guy. Hey, if this guy is still the OSP, we should forget about the fight against corruption. We should forget about it. Nobody is going to jail from the OSP's department. Nobody is going to go to jail. This guy is protecting people who have offended us, people who have stolen from us. How can you tell me in 2024 you open probe into SML deal and you never question Ken Ofori Atta? You wanted to tell me all the way January 2024 you didn't know Ken Ofori Atta was the lead in this criminality. Ken Ofori Atta left after a year, January 2025. Aban Sisaya and also Ken Ofori Atta should leave because he didn't believe that the NDC, they were going to win the elections. If the NPP had won, this investigation would have been a piece of shit to you. So when the election changed, that was when Ken Ofori Atta got the sign that he needs to exit because the SML deal, the new government, they were going to come after it. Now, a buying for front so you created a window for Ken Ofori Atta. You took your eye off the window. You let him escape. Then later came and said, you are looking for Ken Ofori Atta. Where is he? Now they told you that, oh, he's gone to America. He's sick. No. He needs to come back. 1 year, you allow this guy to escape. Today, you are telling us that you need time. Hand over a document and investigation with 2 of your investigators. You said no. And the Okasa 2 hours. You could not tell us in our face that the investigation in its current state, you want to give it to the Attorney General. What is stopping you? Because you are protecting Ken Ofori Atta. Because you know what you are doing. Because that is what you are using the office for. And this Ghana Nibia Akwa Wedi on Kanukre. You see, we should investigate the OSP. I am telling you. A special team should be put together to investigate the office of the special prosecutor. This man, his biggest fear is to leave office. Yeah? And your OSP office now, it is what to follow next. Because you see, whatever he has done there, the moment that title is taken from him, the people who want to speak will speak, and he knows it's not going to end him well. So what he's doing is that he's protecting himself. It's not that office. Because right now, what is protecting him, whatever he has done, which he knows, whatever is protecting him is that title, the special prosecutor. His fear is not leaving that office. His fear is that that title is taken away and that everyone can come in and say, this is my encounter. This was my encounter with this guy. This is what happened. That is his fear. So what he's doing now is stalling. He's stalling every single thing. He's making sure the office does not move. He's going to use that his influence to stop everything. And the more he keeps that office, stalls everything, slows the pace, he still keeps his office as a special prosecutor. It's a game plan, lying. The guy is blatantly lying to every single Ghanaian. Say Jimmy. Now, the question was, Ken Ofori Atta at this point, extradition, it requires a lot of it's so complex. Now Okanyana say, in fact, central authority the Krampo sometimes, if you want to Attorney General, if you want to a foreign ministry, our foreign mission, or can be to say U.S. embassy, Ghana embassy in the U.S. Right now, he's throwing every nonsense out. He's throwing every nonsense out. The guy is basically telling you people, go fuck yourself. I'm not doing anything. That was his press conference today. I don't have shit for you. At a point, Okachira must say, he is now thinking of charging them. Yes, if for docket, also charge it. Bring the docket. The whole thing is not about you charging him. The whole thing is about bringing Ken Ofori Atta to face Ategya court. When we bring Ken Ofori Atta, we can charge him. So, do the first thing first. So you can see he's stolen. Or dinkai or dilemo. Or dilemo because onimse Ken Ofori Atta air press citizenship for America. The day Ken Ofori Atta citizenship be ready. Obeka Chamo say, Ofori Atta yentumi mfa ne mba. Inti okasa ya no kodu no say oh the docket no it doesn't make sense because it's not about or no any docket in my attorney general. See you know. So the letter attorney general extra brand say onfa instructions no onfa on ready so obey you. And I went in the language, you know. From what he's saying, when he tried to summarize it up, or catcher will say, he is not ready to give any docket to attorney general. He's not ready to give any investigations to attorney general. He's not ready to send any investigator. He is telling you, say, he is preparing his own document to go and charge them. So he is never today, tomorrow, the next, going to give any docket investigations to be on the matter. In his statement, that is what he said. On ye ready, so or the document to be another docket to be my attorney general say attorney general should look through for them being the central authority to start or activate or trigger the extradition of Ofori Atta. On ye ready, so obey it. And it's out any answers ni here. All his answers boils down to, oh, my prosecutor is now thinking of the charges, and that before November we will charge. Anything can happen in November. If he doesn't charge, what can you do? He is now going to take the charges from his prosecutor and look through it, review it. And then when he reviews it and he's satisfied, then he can charge. So November 29th, he can come and tell you his prosecutor gave him the charge. He looked through it, he reviewed it, and he believes that there's more that they can add. So let us move to Obesha February 23rd. What are you going to say? The guy is basically buying time for Ofori Atta to get his citizenship rights in America. That is what he's doing. He's saying everybody should go fuck themselves in Ghana. He doesn't have nothing to give you. In fact, Okasano or say, Okacha Attorney General say, the document Okasa the docket had not been bound yet. Meaning, document na obusano de kikansi ni wiye. Attorney General so anka say kesi ni wiye ansa na de abreme. O se bebia wadru bia no fa breme. The question here is, adentina Kisieja Bain cannot give the docket an investigative report to the man. You can still give the docket an investigative report to the Attorney General and still go ahead and charge these 6 or 5 people. Why can't he do that? Because you handed over the docket to the Attorney General, handed over the investigative report, does not stop you from charging these people. You can still go ahead and charge them. So why are you not handing over the investigative report to the Attorney General? Why? Because I didn't say, so what the report to the Attorney General or the docket to the man, that's all the investigators can. You still have investigators and reporters, prosecutors there who can work with you for you to charge him, all of them in November. So what is stopping you? Because the moment you give the docket to Attorney General, he cannot stop you from charging these 5 people or 6 people. It is a this guy is a liar. Nobody should take him serious. Memo bi engineer di $50.5 million and I call we are one office war. $50.5 million. And Ubusan say $50.5 million no. Why pa na wetu de na ko gina court aka say we are Ghana sika de na ko tum 10 years on to me nya bi da. Charles Bisu we ground me van tum. Charles Bisu is an anto. We are talking about Amishadai. We are talking about Kofinti. We are talking about Kenedamwa. We are talking about Ofori Atta. Remember, recently your court to say Ofori Atta Sembi court is all monkombra 1 month time. Assembly enkanyo court is all monkorom kwaye documentations be omunchro omudien omu defense to say omudien den famra na judge ni ready. Kisieja Bain is fooling you people. He has been fooling you people for years. And he has been using you people. And the Emiyan say, we still can't see it. Kisieja Bain who Ghana for some way Jimmy. And you see, we have allowed this to happen because we buy his nonsense. A whole Attorney General comes to stand on TV and tell you, sir, and you know, I have my prosecutor here. I'll give it to him, and the baton will go to him, and then he'll review, and he'll bring it to me. And then I'll look at it and I'll review. And in November, thereabout, I will chat. But give me time. That guy is not adding any sense of urgency to this nonsense. And he keeps telling us, oh, you need to be very careful. That is why we want the Attorney General to help you. Maybe there are some things, oversight in here. That is why we want you to give the Attorney General the document and your investigators to be part. Anything Attorney General, you are not the only office that can look through documents and understand. So you telling us to say, you need to be extremely careful. No? You are getting a second sieve. You are getting a second session that can also look through and say, okay, everything is right, but we think this is wrong. So we, from our angle, let's add this. That is what the Attorney General wants to do. So you telling us you want to be careful. How careful can you be? Because the Attorney General coming in is you being super careful. Why don't you want to give the docket to him? You are a liar. Nobody in Ghana should trust Kissie Jabin. Today, Ofori Atta being in America and not coming home to come and defend what we call his stewardship. It is this guy creating the window for him to stay out of the country. He knows. And you see, he has been playing this game for a long time. And you see what happens. And they say, pressure and bar, pressure and form. He will get his way out. He knows what press conference way, acha 2 days, he will go back to his bulletproof car. He will go and enjoy his office. He may say, this guy knows Ghanaians. We're reading watch it. And you see him like this, he can be in that office, and sometimes he sits back and looks through the system. I know media, he does not like me one bit. Saying, come to Ghana, and got a charge to me so. I know. Make a retailer. Saying, Ghana na metia, and kawa pet some allegation be there to me so say, Makan semetiano, me gunu woofing, and that I've said something against some act. Into hey, you, if anybody sees him, he should bring him to me, and that in Ghana, Uncle Nyankobe. Anka Ghana na metina me juma we are anka odi bibia to me so that is their strategy. But we are going according to what you yourself told us. And we as a people, we need to understand Kissie Jabin is bad news. Now what I want to tell Ghanaians is say that office, say Ofori office now, we need to find another avenue. If we are going to rely on Kissie Jabin to fight corruption, to bring Ofori Atta to Ghana, and then ahema asofo enkwara mpenye Jimmy. I am telling you on authority. Akoye Kasa for 2.5 hours. He could not tell Ghana for say, I want to give the docket to the Attorney General. He didn't do it.
The final decision will not be taken by the OSP. The final decision will not be taken by the Attorney General. The final decision will be taken by whichever foreign jurisdiction.
Well, Obubusa said that timelines is how who is saying. A bad time ban and who is able to me the Ofori Atta from a Juma away Attorney General. Also, yen to me cut timelines as somewhere. If we say in the first place, the final decision is not going to be taken by or not. It's not going to be taken by Attorney General. It is going to be taken by the Americans. But if today you give the docket to the Attorney General, the final decision can be taken just tomorrow. But he is telling you he cannot give timelines. Why can't he give timelines? Because if today the Attorney General hands over, the OSP hands over the docket and investigations to the Attorney General, then we can tell the Attorney General that activate this within 24 hours. Activate it in a month. Activate it in 2 days. Now, you have not handed over the document to the Attorney General. You are also telling us there, you cannot tell us timelines, meaning you are deliberately holding on to this to prolong the timeline. Because the earlier you hand over the docket, the investigation report, the shorter it becomes for us to bring Ofori Atta back home. We have not taken our first step. How do we know when we are going to, how far we can walk? The first step we need to take is to hand over to Attorney General. Then Attorney General takes the second step. Now, when it gets to the US, the Americans, that is where we know the third step is. Now, you have not taken the first step. For us to get to the second step, you are telling us you can't give timelines. It means it is deliberate. It means it is deliberate. You are deliberately halting or slowing this pace of prosecuting Ofori Atta. The timelines, it's in your hand. And can then catch a gun and you say, baby, why investigations said, o person the Attorney General. Na momuno, who investigations there? O person will court November. Until what year you are still going to court. Attorney General should take whatever you have done so far. But you are a liar. You are a liar. You are telling us, oh, it is not up to you. It is not up to the Attorney General. It is up to the Americans. Leave the Americans for the Attorney General. Leave the Americans for the Attorney General. Because when Attorney General gets what he needs, he will deal with the Americans. It is not up to you to decide whether the Americans are going to work fast or not. You do not determine the timelines for the Americans. Americans work with their own time. But the issue we have on the table now is take the step, give the document, and let the Attorney General take another step. Why are you not doing it? You are a liar. Now, those people who are quick to say he should try Ofori Atta in absentia, you people are even creating more room for this OSP to help Ofori Atta live in America. Because you see, I heard Martin Kpebu saying that if Ofori Atta is not coming, try him in absentia. The moment you do that, Ofori Atta will ask for asylum. He will seek for asylum and he's never going to come to Ghana. Because the moment you go to court and try Ofori Atta and say he's a criminal, he will tell the American government that you want to persecute him. He did not do anything wrong. He's seeking for asylum and he will get it. So trying Ofori Atta in absentia is the worst thing to do. You need to go through the process that has been set. Ghana, America have a collaboration. We can extradite, they can extradite. Why can't we go through the central authority to make sure that we have exhausted all avenues? Because there are avenues that we can exhaust that can bring Ofori Atta to Ghana. Why are we going to that extent of trying him in absentia for him to take that opportunity to seek for asylum? It is you people are now enabling this guy to help Ofori Atta escape justice, escape prosecution. And this is what you people do. We are quick to help the criminals to escape. We are quick to help these criminals to escape. Why should we try Ofori Atta in absentia? There are other steps we can take. And those steps, we have not exhausted it. So if we have not exhausted it, why are we not taking the steps? I expect you people sitting on TV. All you guys say you are lawyers to tell the OSP, say, OSP, what is really stopping you from handing over the docket? Let us try that channel and see if it doesn't work. If that channel doesn't work, then we can try Ofori Atta in absentia. Now, there are so many avenues that we can exhaust. We have not even started. We have not even made an attempt. The OSP is sitting and saying, I won't do it. And we are sitting in Ghana saying, we should try Ofori Atta. What will we get when Ofori Atta is in America and we are spending our money in the court? We need that guy in Ghana court to answer questions. Nobody's going to try Ofori Atta in absentia. Because the moment we do that, then we are helping OSP to help Ofori Atta to escape prosecution. Ofori Atta wants a reason to seek for asylum. He needs a reason. And the moment you give him that reason, hallelujah, he's done. He's not coming. The Americans and Ghanaians, the Americans already know the route we can take legally to bring Ofori Atta to Ghana. Why are we not taking it? Why is this man nonsense talk and all this comedy on TV 2.5 hours? One can answer the press conference now in the first, and no sabe read each day. The questions we're asking him, this comedian did not answer any of the questions. How can we allow these things to happen in Ghana? Nobody is speaking in this country. This guy is still in that office. He's scared to be prosecuted if he leaves the office. This is crazy. Charles Bissiou. There is a video of Charles Bissiou taking money. This guy cannot even prosecute Charles Bissiou. Charles Bissiou, ka MPP you for now or your anto. Corona boy no endu Ofori Atta. We saw evidence of Charles Bissiou taking bribe. Charles Bissiou, he took bribe. He took bribe. He did what? He took bribe. You looked at all these things. You still cannot prosecute Charles Bissiou. You are a waste of human being. You are a waste of an OSP. Now then, Americans, no. Omo pe Ghana for boys na chi omo no. Omo American can say, you know something, let's try them in absentia. Why didn't they do that? And then FBI never Ghana mutual assistance. You people help them to extradite those boys to America to go and try them in America, because it is important you bring the culprit, the suspect, to face the law. I didn't think Americans, they say the people are not Americans. Why don't you stay in America and try them in absentia? They could have done that. Why didn't they do that? But the Americans have this agreement with Ghana. They can fly to Ghana, work with the Ghana Security Agency, pick those people and take them back. Why can't we do the same? It is because the OSP is shielding Ofori Atta. You cannot trust this guy. And Americans are going to try a yes uncle in America in absentia. Moment Ghana no try I didn't know man yes. But the Americans knew there's a route, there is a way, there's an avenue. They need to exhaust it. And they exhausted it and made sure they got the boys. Why don't you want to exhaust that avenue? I don't know, OSP, one person will use the avenue, no? Why don't you want to hand over the docket? You cannot be trusted. You are dangerous. The fight against corruption, you are the problem. You are the one we are fighting. When it comes to corruption, you are the corruption we are fighting. We are struggling in Ghana today because of you, Ategya Beng. You are the corruption. You are the problem. I saw this story, I think, say, it's a message to all these small, dirty boys working in Ghana calling themselves lawyers. On Sabwe, a very foolish boy, on to me, on Rankasa, on share nipada. Na Ghana Law School, na ya for sa ajantra for masala wo, eye, Latobio Koshi, and I say, o masala wo, abiukuta. And intina, Ofori Atta to be friend of lawyer. Me say, Ghana law. Sa de ne friend, wajin law certificate, or a lawyer. I have for say ajantra for masala or abiukuta or Nigeria. And intina Ofori Atta to me, ekuta no honante Ghana say me a lawyer. E moya fo, e jimi phobia, irresponsible kid. And kwara mo Johnson paswa, sebio omu ho obatna mo stress kwa no ho aba no. They tell them they can't control their emotions, no. They tell themselves say, yeah, lawyer na nkwasiafo nkwara TV suni radio so. This small boy, say your friend no kwesi boche. Oshana noa, I say etuaben to atu. Sa small boy we NPP for makacham say after COVID na ye war mo pande no. Omo jimi dada. Ena eye election defeat no oma pro e wo madwene mu. Ya say jimi we and ono odi edubu ahen. Lawyers na chi say ono e lawyer. Akwa we okra kura wo ntumi defend no. We osi so me say oba ne ho ofetena na so a oba pipie gu no ho oni emotional control bia oso ye lawyer. Small boy we and you say high court judge catch the say sani Jimmy na oti social media. Oh, small boy continue social media now church from kwasi asem no. We mu dey end up in jail. The NPP no man Jimmy to the point to say, you see, High Court judge cautions Kwesi Jr. over prejudicial social media comments regarding case. I won't spare you next time. Akwara. This boy on to be defending no Akwara we. Ghana the Jimmy tra. Me say and the law no kwasi bia no say Mako Law School. I to say ajantra for mugina abiokuta. I boo 2 naira. Jimmy way and ye take Ghana na me who edubu ahe ohun. De my lord. Yes, my lord. De my lord is ana wishemu. You have no idea. Edubu ahe. Sasa ankura ajunso bukrobo nkora we ya. Omo ni Jesus for date ye kromo nyan wie dating. SS for date omo nyan wie no. Sankura we na ebedi wetia kokota. De my lord. Yes, my lord. Oh, sorry, my lord. My lord, it is de my lord. Ube dembe for 10 years. So we Jimmy. Na akwara we to me endware pepa ne to. Jimmy politics inti. Kofa lawyers, wie sika na kofa lawyers be defend wa. Junso krobo we. Small boy we ya. Jantre ni tra de sra so eyi ase oba pepie gu no ho no. Emotional control woni bi no. Sankura we na ekwa gina court defend wo. Me say de my lord edubu ahe won sa de we bi my lord sa ankura we na udem.
Yes please my lord.
These kind of lawyers they did wechi my lord for me say edubu ahe sa small boys you are nansia na omojo ajunso won pem no my lord otwa na my lord. Oh sorry my lord, I will not write that again on social media. My lord, thank you my lord sa na kukuro say we GB. Na bodam ni kro nam Ghana kwan ho beka kire small boy we so on way emotional control kro bi. We ohwe ponu a 2 minutes na ne ho aba emotional on 3 po en control ne ho. Ohwe ponu 2 minutes na ne ho aba akwara we. Ena case kakraka say down so. Na TikTok boy we Jimmy we osoro to TikTok per ma. Osoro on am alpha hour with different accounts per ma. Kwasi ampe we onya time ono na eba be defend we free court. Asema da woso no Ategya kwa wajimi o Ategya kwa na nyansa nduru ho na wo ko panipa bia bedi wachi aka asem no ama judge ehu nipa ka se we de judge we lawyer we de nimu enyam lawyer we inkuta gene Eya dia kwesi nkutajene. Kwesi botwe nkutajene. Ena we de obeyi we free case we mu. Na no bebia ono akora na ogina ono sika na ebobo so no wahu bida. Lawyer kwesi botwe nkutajene. Ono sa akora na odi wanim no ono sa sika na ebobo so no wahu bida. Ne boxer so say saying judge be ne be hu sa small boy aka say akora we di odim nyansa. Na wo judge na oto no ne ba owie law school ko betumi akira akora we ade. Na wo di jimini we di wechi ende judge ka kira wo say what is our social media commentator we di wechi a me say om di wechi ya my lord kakra mo be di nti we efie ehia buburo edubu ahi wagimi o yetumufo amu ntie na mo MPP fo no mo agimi MPP fo COVID-19 ba wie ya mo lose election mo nyina ma say ntwaboa COVID edure de wo mo anya papa biem ene yesade eye de 38% to am so mo nyina mususu amagimi mo nyina na mabodam asem kakraka say da wo so papa peyin toto a wotu afu dwini o say eye kosibotwe nkutajene small boy we na me e ko bedu me kraman kura wu obi bo me kraman tuo na me pe lawyer manako gina me kraman na chia sa kura we ona wunye serious oh no obedem obedem kura ma oto apepa obedem ewu. Now story way another big story 2 days ago ne baye. Former National Service Authority boss Osei Esibe Enchi granted 800 million bail with 6 sureties to be justified with landed property. There's something I saw today. Akwawe omde ko court no. Na police for dinichi na ye jano. Na young handcuff no. Na kwasia we police didn't left didn't right. Na usher no into a car and say na ewiwe. How different is this guy from Abronye? Akwawe ochen Black Maria na. Akwawe ochre se ye de handcuffs begu ni nsa epia na sheka mu ana. Na ye te Ghana so ewifuo so kwasi ampanyiwe e de nipa bebre sika. Nipa bebre we wia nipa sika na nam Ghana ewiwe. Kwasi ampanyiwe ende otibebi ka kire ya papa no so o ma mobra ewiwe national service sika ena we wia de abobra ene nde ya kye no. Na yanya police fo didi nechi ono ne nsa hye de botom. Ya chi obi a na ya mwankofo hye Black Maria mu na we oni Abronye difference be no ejimi fo mu nyina free party ba kum ewifo miedu na yesoso ejimi fo so na akwa we koba na police fo guard no na Black Maria ni si wo petrogumu ye den we oya hardened criminal sika sa akwasi ampanyi we wia no apin for be 20,000 wo Ghana ankasa sika no ye de hospital ankomu kwasi we does not need any better treatment. This guy, they need to bundle him and throw him in a trash car and take him to jail. Sakwasi ampanyiwe, he does not. And I mean, when I be bukrampofu, obi tu ko wia board na police for the be ekutekuteri mu twetwe na say wako wia Ghana gold nyina yeti krom ha. Obi tu ko wia phone na Ghana police omo de ahoma so di pa ne kon na omo twe na se na omo hye kwasi ampanyiwe wia billions. Kwasi we are billions of dollars. Billions. Na Jimini we police dinechi. Na wafaha na police in session in bottom. Na yase onko tena car we mu na kronfo we. Obi ko wia body a police for mu obi wia body a as mo share arm robber. Na mo tata omu na mo pia omu na mo wo mokoti. Na we ewi ben na wo malata we oche akwa we. Ewi ben e na wokajetia ochan akwa we. Ewi ben na nenam Ghana krom ha omo chen sa akwa we. Ewi ben na wo Ghana ochan akwa we. Since say ya chichire Ghana, ewi ben na chen akwa we on record right now as we speak. This guy is the greatest thief in the history of Ghana. Ono Gifty Edubuahin. These are the greatest thieves. So we are treating greatest thieves with air soft gloves to say omo ye nipa bi. This is not a guy where or say a blindfolding no. You didn't record and you fold in a now we tear the court or we are near near one of the Nakoshakamu. We are not even supposed to let him know where he's going. He needs to be blindfolded. Yet a chin and knee. Now you could tell him when you didn't record Odruko na judge ne ba ansa na yi nanim na wakasa wi ani asa kata nanim ni yatam de ne ko. Why are we allowing these people? These are dangerous people. Omo di ebone. These are people who have committed crazy crimes. Since Ghana be Ghana, when we sika chen akwa we oni give to your worry. Give to your worry. Why is a Pentecost 40 cap? Give to your worry. Why is a Pentecost 40 cap? There 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ona anofiano. Why is a Pentecost for mko camper? Sa tea cap from digi koko anopano. Give to worry. Why is a Pentecost for tea cap? Kwasi abawe. Na yetete Ghana so son kwasi asam so adanya we mu na ye treating of inti obi wo hona say ono so bokro no a ohun we say a big deal. So obi so bokro no a ohun akwa we the way you are treating him there's nothing about it a bit mama ni yem crash say why am I own the issue of Brazil? I've been to Brazil before. I've been to Brazil like twice. You see the favelas. Oh, the Mako, one bonipa be 132. We know the president no tesono. Sir, president no tesono. Omuhuni so are you too liberal? Are you too soft? Now, sir, baby, a ball in conformity to no. Sir, Kagana Kamka said, do you mayor? And I say, member of a MP or no. Or no, or you crazy. He wants to prove to a on the party of the power and say they don't joke. It's ono on the ayomo. Favelas no more hono. Unko Brazil da on tiasie. It is a whole country on its own. I did a TikTok no. When I went to Brazil and I'm a tiasie, when you see those favelas there, a whole country on its own. Every single thing you need, you get it there. But you know, the country security realized that their cost for hono. If they allow it to go on, a time will come, the military, the police, they cannot stop them. So at a point in a nation, the nation sends a message. You see the way they killed all those people. It is not right, but I know what they are doing. They are putting fear in the young ones who are part of those small groups. Now, you're lining around your bomu to 130. We a young man with 12 years, 7 years. Now that image will ring in your head for years. If you want to get into something illegal, you will think twice. That is why street and commitment is one time, but there's a reason. They want to leave something in the heads. They want to leave a mark. They want the young people who were thinking of being part of such groups, they are now going to think twice. This is how you end up. And you see, the message they left by leaving those people on the street like that for a day, for days, it is sending a message. And that message has been sent. That message, it has been sent. Into an Arabia or what area where now are you affiliated to a gang? Obi onyani 3D mwa or a young man bia, he's going to live the rest of his life in the favelas. Every time that thing blinks, a man is cautious what he's getting himself into. So Okototua, he's thinking twice. That is what they do. And that is security. They are talking to them. 4 or something police officers died. About 2,500 military and police went in there to open fire. Did you hear the exchange? The people were prepared. It is not a small place. And sometimes people like this, you use them. Let the people, the young people know. Or somebody need to set the example. Some people are supposed to be used as an example to send a message. Where yachichiri ni a body don't come then na kwetena court. Ye biere ni a oni judge kasawia ni achichiri ni na cameras are picking on ni e pie na hweka mu akwara bi hwe or ye juma or public office or your minister or your MP penyibi or who say hey man hwe ya the next year say the be me. That's the message you send. Na kwasia we nsa hwe the bottom. Jimmy we na police likuta to no guard no please sit in the car. Obi a politician or a cromfoa, you are encouraging them because they believe they are first-class citizens. Into whatever they are doing, they will keep doing that nonsense. That is what we don't know. And and that the one thing that we are missing as a nation. And it's in a bonibi wana ekoswa. To me koswa na obusa say na no be ensu nyansem fim because we didn't leave anything in the heads of the young ones. We did not leave any mark. You see right now, nobody in Ghana will forget Akufo-Addo because of the effort trauma bim. Yani generation, nobody will forget the danger Akufo-Addo put us through. For 8 years, Ghanaians felt they were slaves. The pain. Some people were sidelined. The tribal had their difference. The way some group of people in Ghana were suppressed. The rate at which state security was being used as rebels. Nobody's going to forget. And that is what every time Ghana NPP because we don't want to go back there. It does not matter who leads the NPP. The people in there can take us back to 2020 where they shot people to win power. These are the same people. The same Baobia, the same Kennedy, the same Brian, the same country, the same Communist Japan. These people never spoke against the murdering of Ghanaians, innocent Ghanaians during elections. So it means the probability of them doing it again, it is 1,000%. Anytime I bet Ghana, over the NPP, now we must show it is a trauma. And that is the thing Akufo-Addo left in our heart. Akufo-Addo left something whereby you politician be also dangerous. That is why today it is difficult for Ghanaians to even believe the good things this government is doing. Because for 8 years, serious trauma, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, he put us through something that we had never seen before. Brian Champon led thugs. They went to Ayawaso, they shot Ghanaians. We are talking about Baumia being the head of the Security Council. They went into an election. They opened fire on Ghanaians. 8 people were shot. Kennedy Japan sat on TV, put somebody's son on TV. That person was taken out. We are talking about people with tendencies of ending lives of people through any means. MPP, you must show. Because if you don't take care and you hand over power to the MPP, the probability is there. The probability of us going through the cycle Nana Danko Akufo-Addo put us through, it's 1,000%. Because these are the same people telling us that they need Delta Force back. What do they need Delta Force for? They need Delta Force back to do that same thing they did. Inti sa trauma de Akufo-Addo de kom no. Sa we Ghana ni awadwini adwuma pa OTMPP also yem show. Your mind needs to go back quickly. He has let something in our head that is tormenting us. John Dramani Mahama and the NDC, they are doing everything to psych us. Right now, this government has become like a rehab. The government is doing its best to bring us back to who we were, to start to think as Ghanaians, to start to believe in the system. John Mahama and the NDC, their governance style is like a rehab. We are there. We are trying to believe system again. We are trying to be Ghanaians again. We are trying to be patriotic again. We are trying to believe a leadership. Because it is not easy. Nana Danko Akufo-Addo took everything from us. The NPP took everything from us. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, look at the nonsense Samira was doing when she was second lady. Obunko for Dangu Accra. A mere second lady with no resume. Obunko for Dangu, midnight, Obu Dangu, all because Nikunu a vice president. This is a trauma people have gone through. And don't think, say, these things, they just leave easily. They don't. These are things that stays with us. The same way, into people like this, we are not supposed to treat them the way we are treating them, especially when we tell the people we want to reset. When we want to reset, you sometimes need to be radical. You get it? We have to be radical to be able to reset a nation. Because you see, if you don't use that kind of thing sometimes, you will still be doing the same thing that people are used to. Now, my man, thank you, Mr. S. Let me read this to you. The reason why we need to leave a message that the young ones will not forget. You see this? When you read, Ghana effectively stopped using firing squad execution in the early 1990s, though the last widely known execution by firing squad occurred in 1979 under the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council. That is led by J.J. Rawlings. Now, historical context. In June 1979, 8 senior military officers, including former heads of state, were executed by firing squad for corruption and abuse of office. The practice continued sporadically into early 1980. The practice continued sporadically into the early 1980s. But no execution have been carried out in Ghana since 1993, despite the death penalty remaining on the books. It is a study during the coups, time a CSN firing squad you saw it was very difficult for some people to do some things the way they used to do. It is something that they left. It is something that told us that we are not supposed to go back there again. It is our study your history. I will do this pointer. Ghanaians don't want to find themselves in a place they be a more margin. And when JJ Rawlings moved Ghana from a military state into a democratic state, it was still difficult for us to believe it. It took us some time to believe that, okay, JJ Rawlings, no a military leader. Sesiano was democratically 1992. Yan Tuaba still not difficult for us. Why? Because something was left. Kotoka, Frifa, all those schools that came, and a champon, ABC Rawlings, it was still in the heads of people. So even in 1992, when we became a democratic state, we were still scared because there was something we have gone through. It when Rawlings came in 1992 and started making sure democracy basically takes over. It took us some time to get used to democracy. Now those people who were sitting on the sidelines, Omudi Rawlings attempt ask them, say can democracy and can then win elections in Ghana? If those people who were making noise say JJ Rawlings no a military leader then JJ Rawlings any democracy ba na then Akufo etumi be the president. If it wasn't because of democracy and Akufo any MPP, you would have never gotten power. But it was because of democracy. So you see those people who always chastise JJ Rawlings, who are always talking about 1979 coup and 1960. Those people at the end of the day, it was through that and the Obubenya president D. So when Kufo gets the opportunity, when the NPP people get the opportunity, and they start to talk about 1979, it is through the experience we had. And it's when JJ Rawlings was speaking at the rally, or say, we need to make sure our experience in the past, it should encourage us to protect what we have today. It is out here the statement where he was telling you what we have gone through before. It should always send a message to us and protect our current democracy. The democracy we are enjoying, it is not just on a silver platter. It did not just come. It was something we did. We had to fight for it. We had to go through hell. And we always have to make that guide us into this democracy needs to be protected. And into the Kufuor and the MPP forum, they came and they wanted to take us back there. We had to come together in 2024 to vote them out because something in the back of our heads, something that we recorded in history, it was guiding us to understand that we cannot allow a Kufuor and the MPP turn our democracy into a tyranny, kill us and make it look like democracy. Ghanaians, he was telling his comrades, we can't forget our past because it is our past that is shaping our future today. The democracy we are enjoying it today because every time we think about our past, we never want to go back there. That is why today we need to understand. Sa MPP for no didi atembebre eka say na PNDC for NDC for. If JJ Rawlings had not brought a democracy through making sure we voted in 1992, and JJ Kufuor and the MPP become the president of Ghana. No. So it means the NDC basically understood what democracy meant or means. And then Rawlings about power now after 8 years, he stepped away. Sanka Rawlings believe and as NDC believe in democracy. And Rawlings be the power no as a democratically elected leader no. And he will still make sure the NDC stays in power for 42 years. But the world will see Ghana as a democratic state. But because he believed that our past should shape our future, he basically stepped away and said, "Mon kwasiafoya na motitin kwanche etiti abrochire eya snatches. Money eya de abrofo ye adwumatia no. You people too should lead." That is why the NPP got power. And we gave them power twice. Right now, between the NDC and NPP, from 1992, Obia ruling Ghana 16 years. Now do your comparison and see. Every time you give power to these monkeys, calling themselves the NPP, you see the way they mishandle you people. They mishandle every single sector of the economy. They break it a family and friends thing. They disrespect chiefs. They disrespect the country, the constitution. Nana Dankwe Kufuor, J.A. Kufuor did worse. Kufuor was lucky because social media wasn't there. We didn't have access to the information. But when Kufuor was president, we were not kids. We saw all that happened in Ghana. So we cannot sit and let it look like Sanko Kufuor are people we can trust and rely on. No. These 5 people who want to be flag bearers of the NPP, who can rise up and say that, you know something, I am different from these people who killed 8 Ghanaians in 2020. Who can stand up and say that? They are all part of the killers in the 2020 elections. They were all part of it. The 2020 murders, the 2020 election killings, the NPP leadership led these killings. Bawumia was on the police council. Kennedy Japan was the head of NPP campaign finances. He was part of it. He nodded because he never spoke against it. Brian Champon was part of security. He was part of it. He helped them. We are talking about Kentry, a prominent member of the NPP government, a minister. He never spoke up. Kobere Japan introduced Bawumia, Kennedy, Nana for us to vote for them again. Kobere Japan never came out to say he's against the killings in 2020 elections. These are people who orchestrated the killings of people in Ghana, citizens, all because of power. What makes them different? Again, we are different. We need to protect our democracy. It is very important and very vital. Moving forward, we need to make sure we stop these devils, this disease of human beings. We need to keep them away from power. The NDC as a political party will make mistakes. Yes. They will offend their own grassroots. Yes. They might not get some things right. Yes. But it is always important to protect the democracy of this nation. Because the moment you hand over power to these crackheads, they will take you back to what J.J. Rawlings was telling you. The NPP is against democracy. And now we are still in that trauma. The NDC government is like a rehab for Ghanaians. We are now trying to get out of the trauma. And say to me, the 4 years every trauma we should dare not make that mistake to take the country back. 42 years is enough for us to grow out of this trauma. Let's keep these people in power for 42 years. It is very important, very vital. We need to protect it. Now, answer number one. I've seen this statement making rounds. This is the ECG one. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Asamoah Boateng can't simbi. Oh, sorry. Boabia Samoa. And this might be my last topic of the day. We have done 3 hours, 3 hours, 19 minutes. NPP has allowed a foreigner who is NDC, Bawumia, to be imposed on them. Go ask his wife Samira if she has an NPP card. Yao Boabia Samoa, Interim General Secretary, United Party. Boabia Samoa is a General Secretary of the NPP for a long time. Boabia Samoa say, "Omo nyansafo na omo NPP mu na omo hu say NPP ye wudi for party. NPP a party a yentumi for Ghana democracy ensure munsa. Na omo ankasa omo nkwa, omo pese omo bo omo nkwa, omo baya, omo tie omo free NPP no. O say, ye na yete NPP mo. Boabia Samoa na o NPP mu ansa na Bawumia ba. Alankoye Chamanti na o NPP mu ansa na Bawumia ba. Majority of the people who are with UP are a free NPP mu ba ya no mate omo no. 90% of them no more NPP mu ansa na Bawumia na yereba. Boabia Samoa say, and the party na si wo no. Party for na yedi omo te yedi omo furu mate party na yi omo si nkyɛn. Ɛna sebio yakofa amanfrafo a party card krom ndibi. Samira Bawumia ne party card wen. Samira Bawumia oni constituency bi obetuma ka say me committee wa have 4 times but MPP fo agiminti. And ye pese ye de party no Emma Bawumia ne papa ye NDC ni. Ne first wife maame ye NDC ni. Mahamudu Bawumia onu ankasa ne papa tete ni wo NDC mu no. Ye pese ye force ne de party ni ma NDC ni Bawumia. Na ne yiri sebi o ne yiri fulani on free Ghana na oni party card no. Ye tam party no e de ma ne yiri no. Every say nipa omudi party nanim no. Ewudie sikadie ene ebu a omumbu Ghana fo ntina ende omo pese omo force the party no ehye Bawumia ene ne yiri a oni party card nsa. It is true. Constituency ben na wo Ghana omo betuma ba bontia beka say 1992 1994 1996 ne ene Bawumia ye ne Samira the meeting edwuma oma ye dues adomutia. No constituency in Ghana. These are pure foreign breeds in the NPP. And then just foreign breeds keke. Mahamudu Bawumia's father He worked for the NDC. In fact, J.J. Rawlings gave him his first political appointment. He's an in and out NPP, NDC. Mahmoud Bawumia himself, he lived with the NDC for a long time. It is out of greed. And who say NPP for the Jimmy, don't want to go school. It is Obanoka say, or a doctor, or Jimmy, that is why, because in the NDC, you cannot just come and say, me a doctor, me an economist, now you are to say, vice president. It does not work like that. Into Osher two parties, who said the papa kwa brand the papa breye and said on your position because his father had to work from the ground. His father had to prove himself before he was given a position in the NDC. He knew that he did not have that mental capability to do that. And that as slimy and slicky as he is, when he looks at the foolish masses, that is the NPP grassroots and the MPP, they are so dumb to the point you need to come with a name called doctor, lawyer, economists. The moment they hear that, because 90% of MPP for can go school almost best JSS, they fall for titles. Bawumia looked at them and said, the foolish masses are the people I want to use. And I call MPP. Samira Bawumia today, she cannot say, this is my constituency. So Samira Bawumia is an in and out foreigner. What is wrong when somebody is a foreigner and Wabetina Ghana? So if Samira is a foreigner, can't we say he's a foreigner? And then Abuabia somewhere catch them no. Almost Samira Bawumia Krampono only party card. Into the party you people, Mudi Achireno, Mudi Amanfrafwa, Sebio, party Kromuni baby a teaching free. And because Mududona Mudi party Jiminti, you are falling for this nonsense. And the me video be. Na Nana Jantwa, Miaminipa, na Oye Jandambi. And you see, that these are some of the things I keep saying. I say I maintain that say Bawumia edidi obi atem da. Maintain that say Kobne Japan we did obi atem da. Maintain that say Brani Champon you knew where he was going. All that he was trying to do didn't say yanya campaign tia Kennedy Japan. Me I don't care about Kennedy Japan. I don't care about Bawumia. Party nanka so mo Jimmy. Nobody is intelligent enough to lead Ghana. But you see, that is the thing you do. Bawumia empowering people to destroy the party in the name say, Bawumia say on it dear ondi obiatem from the noom. But everybody who is supporting Bawumia is on platforms insulting opponent. Bawumia yaka obia odiatem of politics mu pa Mahmoud Bawumia. Yepe obia odiatem o MPP mu. Obia odiatem Bawumia. Because every single person odi Bawumia chibia insults. Every single person. Enti Bawumia esuma ni ntwamoa no na omuko di atem a na nipa na ebedi na atem no or respond pe. Yes Bawumia de oni atem na abronye DC campaign o yama aponche. Eche mo person ka chem se Bawumia nya nipa o ya aponche na de abronye mo ka favor no enyo ono na ekọ no na ekọ aponche bi unless you want to tell me. Unless you want to tell me the people who sit on TikTok, his people following him on Facebook, they are not speaking in Bawumia's favor. Bawumia is the most diabolic politician Ghana enya. It will probably dear temper of politics more Ghana Bawumia. Because Bawumia is against insulter. Why is it that the people who are following Bawumia and have made it official that they follow Bawumia no? Why hasn't Bawumia himself? Why hasn't he been able to publicly say, you are bronye, who nipa we, dia mo kan munjai, because Bawumia is the enabler. It is unquestioned jandam na yana mo yeno, and I pity every time somebody like Onana Jantua, Wako University, also consider the engineering. You don't fall for such dirty, petty politics. Canada Japan dia tama, all that he needs is fair elections. Everybody goes into an election with a strategy. But the idea of somebody trying to skew the process to favor somebody, that is what I don't like. Kennedy to be president, the same as Bawumia. Kennedy is as foolish as Bawumia. Bawumia is as foolish like Kennedy. Brandi Champo nim nyansa nchen Bawumia, and Bawumia nim nyansa nchen Brandi Champo. Kennedy nim nyansa nchen Brandi Champo. Omo ye ejimi for. But what the party needs is you people have to show some maturity. Say, yeah, election emudaho. That is what when we sit here, we need to preach. Because say a journalist here, na ya say be ademdie bi ayakoje nipa bi yetano, we are going to skew in Kofobia General Santimemu and mama time a particular candidate. Na nipa we dear because the nipa mamskebi me panasam anabi binti menka sentiobia. Then you are being stupid because open nipa omudi baomia omudia tempa. Baomia knows all of them. Has he ever stood on any platform to tell them not to do that? Baomia enables them to do that. I don't support any of these fools from Kennedy to Baomia to Brandon Champon. I don't support any of these criminals, any of these murderers, any of these imposters and criminals. I don't support any of these fools. But at least I want what we call fair elections to prevail in the NPP. It is someone trying radio so na moya ma adwene say mo betumi adane nsam aye nipa bi adada nipa bi akeka nsam to nipa so a eno na it comes back to bite you people. It moya sa not so face some no feel bad about what you are doing. They get angry and they attack you people. Must be tired. Your journalism na there. Obi to me stop you. Because you need to be clear in your conscience when you are working. Do not entertain anger, envy. Do not entertain something called hatred towards you. These are five foolish men who are greedy, who stole from us, who still want to lead the party. You as a journalist, let the people understand that you need a free and fair election in the MPP. Actually, when Jimmy Nobakacham said Baumia does not insult. I was about Baumia Bejinan Dipemka say, oh, I said it was the atom. Now, Abronya Okasama punching. Abronya Okasama punching. You sit on TV and radio and kwasiade. Mona mama politicians are for journalists to be say moi. Because when they listen to you, they see you people to be weak. They see you people to be people who are not straight, who are not consistent, people they can use as rags. Because why should you sit on TV or radio on your show and say, Baumia oniatem, Brandon Champo oniatem? Now, how do you reason yourself? How do you reason? And it's not personal. I want you to reason to the point where you don't call for some unnecessary hate for yourself. Who are you campaigning for? What do you get when any of these guys win? You get nothing. Oh yeah, campaign more 2013, 14, 15, 16 about power. What did you get? Nothing. So what stops you from being neutral and telling the truth? Bawomiana say MPP politics. Let us get this right. Samira Bawomia in 2015, 16. Ojina platform no odi Lodina Mahama tem. Na odi John Mahama tem. San kwasiafo na moso Ghana. Ana murefi. Samira Bawomia ni kunu Bawomia. They stood on different platforms. Samira Bawomia and Tososo to me the Mahama tem. Nobody said anything. At 10 years about politics, when Bawomia na hearing the buy. Ghana politics at 10 years, and Bawomia na hearing the buy. Somebody is incompetent. Somebody is and Sankwasa me doing the buy. So why can't we be honest to tell them in their faces, say, Sir Jimmy, when I'm introducing to Ghana politics, no, and then I'm a bedruha because Samira when I'm one, Obidi Watema Beoya. Obika some Beoya. So why do you think, say, when you say something against someone, Sani Penis are responding? It is not all about you speaking, it's about the people behind you, it's about your support. At a point, when I was telling Ghanaians, say, you should vote Ekufuor NPP out. You people were saying, say, Kevin Taylor Kasa, Emani favor NDC to Kasama John Mahama, Munyamo Mami. Why today you people cannot tell Bawumia, say, Diabronya, or in his favor, and Kwasiafoma? At a point, when I was telling Ghanaians, there's so much corruption. This is the scandal. These are the documents. Vote against the MPP and bring the NDC. You people from Party Penifo Ahem from Kwasia for Asofo say Kevin Taylor is speaking for John Mahama. Chairman would me Kwasia and show amway or general radio TV can say I and Kevin Taylor Kasama Mahama, but nobody has ever seen me officially write anything for Mahama, say anything for Mahama. But as far as I'm speaking, and I was going in favor of the NDC, which Mahama was the leader, I saw from Kwasia for because say Kevin Taylor Mahama. Now then, I brought you the Okasa, na Odi Kennedy atem, Odi Brandon Champo atem, Odi Obi atem, and Kwasia for Muntumi Kanchan Sabawomia and Shenichi. Quarter the Boga in 9. You people sit and you destroy Ghana's democracy. Obi na Nkwaya na Munkoka. Someone in a 1 year bomb Timutua, Mamum Blemobia, because you call these things for yourselves. Jimino, you see, it is Bawomian and the Yirin almost say Ghana politics. It was very decent. People were throwing low jobs, people were being diplomatic. But Saba Womia way about politics in Muno, Sama Hamudu way about politics in Muno, and or started in the Jimmy Kasadebaye, or none started the attempt. And the people behind him today are doing it. It's Mutina Radio Swa. Be reasonable enough. Be reasonable enough. Ade, Unipo MPP at today, Unipo NDC at today. As I sit here, I don't fucking care about anybody. Let the people know the truth. In 42 years, I will never speak in favor on the NPP. I am telling you today, I will never. If Mahama, NDC, today, Egua, I am done. Because, I don't believe in the principles of the NPP. I would rather go and support Alan Tremantin. So, as I sit here, my job here is to make sure Ghanaians know the truth. MPP, Kennedy Japon, Brian the Champon, Kwasiafo, nobody can lead Ghana. None of these twerps. Kwasiafo, when built me lead Ghana. So why should I sit here and make it look like when they say, tell them the truth. What actually took them to opposition? Let them know. And the truth is that the NPP became unattractive from 2016 when Mahamudu Bawumia Negre inculcated what we call indirect insult in our politics. They started it and Kufuor backed it. Nanado Dan Kufuor, no Fred, Professor Mills, Professor do nothing, then do little. Kufuor them sat behind and they were happy. Now you have groomed Bawumia who led this party into office with insult. Who is intelligent among the 5 or 6? Who is intelligent? Friend bipolar. Yakasa will be a bipolar. Sani pano, Sebio Nisuban, I am whiny, the Nisu Krakow. And then no sre achina wumuna. Sani pasano, Uchebo to the Quantabo, Adechos Miniano. And the news Alberton said WHO, World Health Organization, for say a year an estimated 157,000 Ghanaians were living with bipolar disorder in 2024. 84,000 AM and 75,000 AM Bema. A year World Health Organization, a year we are seeing apomudin omonomohwesono. Almost time na MPP ewa bemu a year 2024 Ekufuor near tena ye be infie wotwe no. Almost say nipa sebio edam yare edam. Hey, what I say for ni be text. Hey, what I say good. What I say relax. O kobuchi. O de now you good. O tunye she. In what I say good one ba kono good. Ono on day a quick lunka. Into ono I mean can answer ba kono ono me to chacha no. Ono me twa bet no. Ono me twa a soccer bet sa ba kono ono me can answer. Now, a year World Health Organization for say a year Omwana under Ekufuor abenwom eye MPP wa abenmu no nipa na sebio edam ehyehyehye omo ho yakasa bipolar sebio bipolar edam ba edam a enta yi ne ho eyi ne ho mbrem no enti I and friend say den weni so ayehuja ene your friend bipolar obu ha anopa one bekwa asori ono ye fine pa ono ato asori collection ono edi nkomo ewia ko huna na otwa wada pa ene your friend bipolar omankasa no unhu omusuban no aye hodo no omayese Egyptian goat. Life now up and down, roller coaster bisa. Inti imagine NCC so your friend bipolar. Yakasa why whiny. Yasin another down quick for the MPP tisono. World Health Organization for say ye research bi Ghana. Na the omu we say Ghana for man kwa be 84,000 no munyina bodame sie. Bipolar friend bodame ni tie. And mbema kwa 75,000 no munyina so abodame sie. Enti udum se na MPP te so no na Ghana for be 157,000 no munyina bodame sie nipa oha 100,000 and 57,000 daso. Enti sas nyoma we nyina hu a also busa won se saa nkofo nya no mo system nim swing mood ni ade enti udum se na enti na branch de since you see 2025 mu NDC bae ni suba no se da se gina ni buntamfu on time ye enhujehujaye or mood swing no kra because na Ekufuor the MPP was no World Health Organization for your research conducting research bi wo ha thorough one and obehu say anka MPP omo mamu nyina mabodam omo se nipa 157,000 bodam bodabenitie omo nyina na omadwene enko bankrom na omadwene nsisi so sebio ochina waye say ade beche waye say osina bodam ehyehyam ho we nso nya asema ye kan de sere. In this way, no, it should even tell you, say, we need to be careful about the MPP as a government. We need to be careful about MPP as a political party. Because the World Health Organization, I catch say, under Ekufuor the Bawumia, Kennedy Japon, the Brand Champon. Sena Ghana for 157,000 abodame sie. Mood swing, no, ultimi calculate, ultimi monitor, omutimi ebechum no sre, adebech no kutase kan do echi. Say esipa, na sesiano, be aban sesan no bomu say nyoma esisi na akwemu omo anoma bodam de say abronye mu no omo na sisi covid no eke mu kakra omo ntumi nyina omo na so dim se nipa bi de say abronye covid no esutwae no vaccine bi na de wo na asɛe adwumamenu de bi ba na de wo abronye ɛno nti na ma abronye mu bi no ɔmom di ba omi akyi ni bi no ɔmom di ɛyɛ de parliament ɔmom beso be di president o NPP mu n'akyi bi no ɛno nti na ama omusuba na ehugya obi de sɛ masamudu ɛyɛ NPP for third vice no covid vaccine de wo no na asɛe nti na kakra wom nti o ma na jimi na bɛtɛ obi de sɛ ɛyɛ de Mustafa ɛyɛ de Salam ono so covid no adwumamenu de bi bi wo no nti ono so no apart from bipolar no na osa wo covid disinfection na covid no so asa send moja nti na sankofo ni nyina wo behavior say ede na see covid plus bipolar abronye DC covid plus bipolar Masawudu covid plus bipolar Mustafa Salam covid plus bipolar Nana B covid plus bipolar Pentium 2 general secretary covid plus bipolar obi de say Ernest Owusu Bempa covid plus bipolar obi ete say eye momobodi no omodoso pa an sa obi te say Dennis Miracle Aboaje covid plus bipolar obi ete say eye omodoso eni sankofo ni nyina covid ena mix bipolar ena ende WHO amehun say jimi ni nyina no eye bibi nti momayemfa enti yokotodwam. We should be very careful as a nation, as a people. These are things that we should not underestimate and play around with. We need to get serious and look into these things. Eba nipa bebrea oma boda mesi o Ghana and the kufuado no ekosropa afina ete eba form. Now, and that me story be and it's got to do with a year China Mall ewo Ghana you see ejatum. Now, fire destroys China City Mall in Kumasi and video no I saw the pictures, the aftermath, and I'm one person I'm Makacha Ghana for say this China Mall we need to put an end to it. I actually spoke about this intensively or extensively, but Ghana for no it do sometime be a edufudie pe and I say a free a de and na ye nipa bia ye pa de fu ade fu ye pa de fu inti ya bra but majority of us no yentumi nkoso and yesterday a yene aye ho kire Ghana pa na yene pa ade a efo me ka kire Ghana for a few weeks ago or roughly maybe a month or two ago say a market na Ghana no betumi jane na so a we need to make sure we curb down the spread of the China malls and we check here they are putting the China malls next to our market centers, the busy market centers are yene Ghana for no eko hokodidwa. Now, this accident, and I said this fire destruction ya yuhune wi ewa santimemu. I say China Mall ejatom na senia ashono. I want us to go watch the video. We are na yedi inkomobi. This is the China Mall na say ejatom no. Near nyina wa hand it is as a China Mall na wo Kumasi no ba kwa hye. Now so we share pictures no now share a year building na in less than I can say an hour. It to me share any building bia ya the brick mortar building bia safety. Are there a friend safety? Are there a friend what we call a year quality control and assurance eco muna? What you are seeing there was already a death trap. Now, the reason why in China Mall we just told me a few minutes. It to me share a car skeleton, a aluminium kwansi want to say every single thing in that mall is synthetic. A debia ne ewo mall biano a highly flammable. A debia ode a bang a jar. It will not take more than 2 seconds. Ijabesuma ebeshi. Whatever you want to say, highly inflammable. Now, they see what China Mall hona as a big facility say nka yeto blocks say lay foundation say you see say a structure that in the first place you ma building engineers ebe inspect ye quality assurance for be inspect ye how fire resistant it is, and I say how it can resist any kind of a year damage to say yeah. Menya sure say this building will burn down to this level. Okono say just aluminium frames in Kwanaka. Now the reason why I'm making this point and say there are two things here. It could be genuine. It could be say electrical problem. It could be say obinaye mistake in a jatoho, and it could be say the Chinese themselves decided to burn this down for insurance reasons. Me, kakra be who Chinese for no. They are good people to do business with, but you cannot underestimate any Chinese. And I'm one person, I'm so much into countries trading amongst each other. But what I don't like is countries taking advantage of other countries because of trade. And maybe because of their strength when it comes to economic strength, when it comes to trade and business. Now, what I saw in this NNSA, first of all, that facility now we see as China Mono, it was a death trap. Sa facility way, one day, ankebe jire gum ama nipo muomu nyina be wu. I can assure you for a fact to say the building contractors, engineers, to go and check this structure and all the China malls in Ghana. You check it structure ni here. None of them should exist in Ghana today. Say Ghana, ye di emraso. Send ye to me go around ebubunko for dangu say we diner o see a dino non so the road shaha or sanko or making sure say the quality of cement also making sure say this particular specs way has to anke the be China mall say what Ghana musia spread here. We will have to close all of them down. There are people who can testify. Say sa China malls no nemua e de say wonam earthquake zone. Unimu say a dino was so shaki. They know. I'm to Kumasi, I'm to crying, I'm to around the nation. Or China, you be China Mobiana room now in you could see you are working on plastic. And I will not be surprised to say this thing you are seeing here, Siashino, Assassin, they did not buy it, they just leased it. And the idea in United say they are just putting some structure on to make their money to take to China, and whatever happens next, they don't care. I am talking about Chinese who can come into your country and destroy your water just like that, and they don't care. Even when you are putting EMRA in place, cautioning your citizens, the Chinese are still in your forest. Some of them still don't even care about the laws now. So if the Chinese can enter your country, destroy your water, destroy your forest, and even at the point where you are telling them to stop going after them, they are still doing it. Building something like this with fake materials, it is high. And what we just saw here, we need to now go after the institutions that are supposed to make sure. I will not be surprised to say that thing they call China Mall, there's nothing like fire extinguisher. There's nothing like an exit point. There's nothing that will protect anybody if this facility or whatever they have built, calling it a mall, caves in. Nobody will survive tomorrow. I am telling you, you might not like me. Matina catch them so many times. The Chinese, to say when Jimmy, they will take advantage of you. That is the Chinese. Dawson. To say Nigeria for. And you won't say, you're Africa cry. People think, say, Nigerians they don't have compassion for people. Nigerians can do harm to their brothers. When the Nigerians come to your country, it is because they are many. And they need to survive. And what you think that is dangerous, you don't want to get into. And Nigerian will get into it because they are looking at the risk, a 50-50 risk. They don't care to make sure they get something and lose a family member or a friend. They don't care. They are always trying to survive. And that is how the Chinese are. The Chinese are basically a quarter of the world's population, if I'm not wrong. So these people are not people that when you are dealing with them, you leave anything to go. You just make sure you do what? You cross your T's and dot your I's. And what I saw today, the Chinese just built a death trap. They themselves decided to light it up because they are beginning to see, say, their market is dropping. The level of purchase at Ghana for right now, they are beginning to know, say, the kind of things they sell, Ghanaians are beginning to know, say, they are not things that can last. So they are now seeing, say, maybe the amount of imports they are making losses. Don't underestimate the Chinese. I love them as humans. and we do business with them. They help Ghana, we help them sometimes, but we need to also always put our interests first. The same way the Chinese will put their interests first in any business they do with us. Because the Chinese will not allow a Ghanaian to come to China and do galamsey. If you are even a Ghanaian businessman and you want to build a factory in China, I am very sure they will not allow you to build such a structure in China for Chinese citizens to come in and shop. They will make sure the building you put together or whatever building you have your shop in is building that is strong enough to protect its citizens. What you just saw here is a death trap that got bent. And we need to hold our leaders accountable. I saw the KAMA boss hugging the lady, the Chinese owner. That's fine. But the question you need to be asking yourself is, how did this building look at the things left behind? Show the skeleton of the building. This is a death trap. And they have these things scattered around the nation. They don't care if a mall caves in today and 10,000 people die. They don't fucking care. It is your country, it is your government that is supposed to force them to do the right thing. If you sit there and they take advantage of you, at the end of the day, it's so because I have a problem with white people because they enslaved our forefathers. I can never have a problem with the white man, because when the white man came, you also had your land. You had every right to protect your land, not to allow them to lie to you. It is the same. If you allow yourself, the Chinese to come in, if you like bribes, they'll pay you the bribe. If you are not intelligent enough to know that you need to protect your nation, they don't care, because their nation is protected. So what you now deporting now, Chrome, and that place, our clean water to drink, our everything at their disposal. That is what I am talking about. This burning of the China Mall, we need a fire service to conduct investigations. We need a quality assurance to come in. The Ghana Engineers Architect Association, they need to go in there and conduct investigation. Why should such a thing be called a mall? Why should such a structure be allowed? People be allowed to enter it in thousands. Why should we allow this to happen in Ghana? Because yet Kroma and Amokacha say we are not supposed to build with inferior stuff. We are not supposed to do this. The reason why I do a share in less than 2 hours is because every single thing in there is plastic. The reason why it's here in the Ghana, it just took time more. Within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, fire service didn't do it is because majority of our people are patronizing synthetic things from these China malls. Obako obi dem wardrobe it's made out of some synthetic material. A TV stand, synthetic material. Akonyo teso, synthetic material. Ube run a carpet, synthetic material. Every single thing in that room is synthetic. Sani pano, jaw to crack them and the whole building will go down in 10 seconds. First, no na a dying shit. A jet to be told obisi, Oba corona in Konya, be the Husisiwo. A just should be, Emma, you can see, say, the wood is still alive. Like you could see, say, in Riani Biwoho. A jet to me shit dying, Uber run out wardrobes to be half a shit. It takes time for buildings to burn. But then it takes less than an hour. Now a whole building is gone down because our system, we have allowed these people to push a lot of things that catches fire easily into the system. In the end, we 10 rooms in Ghana, if you be a 9, a jet toma, answer the fire service in a diner shegu form. That is a fact. Hardly senka China more we senka sebio menoka say senka a brick and now blocks and you see sad way and everything in it basically it was built with solid material and the thing just bent down like I had to say rubber. Our system is weak. When I was watching it, I felt bad because imagine nani pagum and a janu somu and a bugumu within 10 minutes go be a beshi. Yes, I did told you saw the rate at which it was burning. Mr. P, get me the video of there are other videos out there. Who see be a say a dear pa and there was some more we more to say every 2 seconds be obi the petrol gum. It is because a dear be a woman biano are not things that are supposed to be sold in homes. Let's get serious. Your market or garden, and I keep hearing this government. Recently, I heard the government saying that they are going to build an ultra-modern market at Aflao. They are building some markets around the nation. And the Kejetia, live at Kejetia, and the majority of Ghana force and Kejetia, they don't go there again because they have seen another place where it is cheap and inferior. And as a nation, if we allow that to happen, our markets, ye dwani nyina be say, you see me no ka say obi tike je di matam me protecting ejuma, but we jiminti onti ase. We jiminti onim nyansa onim de America no. Majority of nipa na omoko kejetia market and there's what to bear 40%. Why? Because they are going for inferior stuff. They are going for cheap stuff. They are going to the China malls because you allow the Chinese to bring in inferior stuff. The funny thing is, Obibaga say, oh, but China mall no, omu create juma. Let me tell you one thing. When you go to these China malls, Ghana for more China malls holding yinano. Obie niwa or you're part of management. They are many position park with him your supervisor. None of them get close to real company document or anything. Omo never employ any Ghanaian above supervisor job. No, even supervisor no krampo, they give you a limit. We are supervisor, you are supervisor on a Ghana forum nanam form. And it's so disheartening. So Oko China malls we are the rate at which they use a Ghana form you see them every day. And you see, the Labor Commission knows all these people who work at these China malls are paid below the minimum wage. We know. Because we don't have a lot of work or people are not employed in this nation, the Chinese are taking advantage of us. China malls around the nation, they are paid below minimum wage. And the Chinese are always using us. 99% of the malls in Ghana, China malls, Obienwa or J credit card. Their operations, basically 99% of the operations, transactions, and in physical cash. They take hard currency. Because they don't even want to take through a credit card or through any electronic means for the government to even take its share. Because obi the card to adia, a buying TB. Obi the card to adia, a buy no bank card ni free no bank enyam faso, a buy no enyam faso through Bank of Ghana. Taxes no. The Chinese will tell you say omni machine in yejuma kofasi kabra. And you people know it's happening because at the end of the day, what they do is they pile the money, convert it into dollar and take it to China. And they are not going to go transfer the money at the Bank of Ghana because they will be questioned. What they do is they smuggle that money out of the nation through our borders. And these are people who are stabbing us in the back. And let me tell you, I am open for business. I am open for nations meet having business with other nations. But what I am not open to is people taking advantage or countries taking advantage of other countries. And that is what the Chinese are doing. Yet, and Lebanese for buy at least Malcolm for that, we saw at least the quality stuff Malcolm they were selling to us. We have lived with Malcolm and some other Lebanese companies for a very long time. We know, said the kind of things they were bringing where things are almost free other nations to say, maybe India and Pakistan in countries, But at least they were durable. But this China more people, these Chinese, now, Monshe Sibia Adian and tell me, say, this more, it Adia Shi. Jawi, I'm one a no. Chinese for an no. They say, now a Jawi start here no fire extinguisher near you more. At least a gin cry. See the rate, Shejano. And then Yanyan Kwarasa, Omo because they know what they are doing. Omesa Komwamo banks wanna akwaji billions. Omu Yomesa BC. Give them 4 months. This thing, they'll put it back together. And the funny thing is, this inferno you just saw is man-made. People deliberately did it. They know. They set it up. I'm going to say Jimmy, and we will fall for it. This is the time the KMA boss, the Ashanti regional minister, they need to call for investigations. Ategya is a friend of China more from Sa National from the beginning of its building. The safety, the fire escapes, the exit, they need to call for investigations. Because this thing you are seeing like that, it's in the middle of the city. Where pure arson. It's arson. They decided to burn it down. Now, Jimmy, we will sit there and let these people beat us again. We are getting closer to Christmas. Oba will say, marketing form what they need to get, they are not getting. You might say that Kevin is being inhumane. Kevin is, it does, when the woman was crying, I like her, she's a nice woman, but she can't take advantage of the system. Because sa dear way, sa box way, sa a rubber dear way, or say a mono, ni chrome, they are not going to allow any Ghanaian. A Krobian Kamamue, she's under investigations right now. This, the owner of this mall, Anka Ekrobia Anka Anadwin here to Tunano. Ekrobia is serious, bia Anka a regional minister, a KMA boss, and come after police me here to Tunano. Because a day now this see some more way. A day safety measures the komu. In case this idea we see an doors the lock here and a nipa guma and can nipa 2 and go so nashi. Yes. Ebia by mistake. And an electric electric gate. And a basano, a jamia into me within 10 minutes. What are you telling me? This is not a joke. They need to investigate this woman. You need to close down all the China malls in Ghana. I've advocated for that. I was in Ghana a few weeks ago. Namakra, Mefa baby is where China mall. Oko East Lagos is China mall. Me say, Oma bezi sinyo mafumbi okronim na. Eni eti Ghana na Jimmy, and we are entertaining this foolishness. Ma can't mu. Mujari nyina abegu. Omo galamsey no jai. They are not going to get into galamsey again. Omo musa muni abre. Munya mo bechi omegum. They are not going to go to Gala inside again. They are now going to go after mo markets. When you know Nigeria force na ayarega the group be Ategya nipa ba ko mienu miensa bi, we understand the Nigerians are also taking advantage of the system. But let's look at who and who. Why na taking advantage of the system? The Chinese. Go to Makola. The Chinese are all over the place. Ghana phobia should I selective. Let's go after Nigerians. Let's go attack Nigerians. Abosio Kain, Nigerians have spare power shop. How many Nigerians have spare power shop in Abosio Kain? And how many Chinese have big shops in Kantamanto? What kind of nonsense is that? What kind of nonsense is that? Nigeria and anticipate at least they are here with us. We can deal with them. Now, what about these people? We see them. They are doing this. We see it. Let's go after the low-hanging fruit. Nigeria for I don't condone Nigerians coming here and working or doing business illegally. But if you want to stop this, let's look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the Chinese, the Asians. Let's stop being hypocritical. Let's stop being foolish. Number one, Yaragalo didn't go for demonstration. Nigeria 434. Yes, if they are not doing the right thing, we need to get them off. But we need to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that Chinese have dominated our market, and our market is dying because Chinese are bringing in inferior goods. The Chinese are not supposed to do what they are doing. Now, more story to tell you, Jack. We need time. There's another story. Me can some way much some time back about. Besides, do I have the video to Mr. P? Did you guys send me the video to this story? Me catch them 2024. Besides, do you have the video to this story, Mr. P? Rising smuggling of vegetable oil threatens Ghana's oil palm industry. 2024. Me, I'm a palm editing. A palm oil farmer. Enti me wa abe ena me nu abe. Enti me meka abe ho asema, I know what I'm talking about. Me wa abe wu. Mo abe be 60 acres wo Ghana. Eye me dia. Ena me sa enu abe e wo Ghana. Eton engo. Enti me nim abe. Me tena kroma ka kire mo say 2024. Me ka kire mo say eye enkofo bi wo Ghana omo kra engu free Malaysia sangu no enyangu papa. And secondly, sa engu no say Ghanaian market. Engu na ye ala enkofo mo bi free Malaysia eba no enya engu mpo aye di. Metena ha ka kire mo 2024. And me ka kire Ghana for say mo amoye Ghana for no, you should all come together because we are being fed with poison. Me ka kire mo say these people, what they are doing, NPP for any Ghana for the matem minimum answer. And what are we seeing? Stakeholders are more ton and go any and what our Ghana and say see idea the aircon ayehu. Adentina ayehu because enguna nipebi efa kotikwaso through some means to bring them into Ghana no sa enguna eba no one enye two esa ekunipa. Now I have spoken on this for long. No media house actually supported this campaign. Now the reason why we are getting this in the say your uncle phobia wa omo de engone ba at the port no they miss how do they say it? Misdescribe. They don't tell omo bokro no port wa instead say a young way from Malaysia no na omo ne court port officials be a change din say oh enyango ebia we olive cooking oil and as a way a vegetable cooking oil abra omo nim say ngo a omo from Malaysia na omo misrepresent to say miss something they misrepresent it or misdescribe we mo ka say ni no. When we were speaking on this, they were in Ghana. It was favoring them. Were they not in this country? It was during NPP time they started cast the same way. They started this smuggling of illegal fake palm oil into this country around 2019. These people did not speak. They were here because some of their friends were making money. And they themselves, some of them were making money because they were misrepresenting mislabeling them. Obi wa otumi kofa enguwe fi Malaysia enye onim se enguwe ye de semina na wa de sangu ni bedru temapota na one custom officers ahihye ho o se engu ni nyina no olive oil abra palm kernel another palm oil na palm oil ye de semina Malaysia na o matwea fam na ye yi ba ko pe se we nyina olive oil from Greece na wa beton wo Ghana. They know they are lying. They are all lying. It is because it is not going well for them. They misrepresent the products they bring in. They bring them to the port. They connive with custom officials. Maybe expose be at Tema Port. Matisse, the long room. They have started extorting money from people. And I've sent a message to the right people up there to check that. I've heard that Tema Port, the long room now, must start Jefferson cash bunko for faso. You the people at Tema Port. That is what I have heard. And I'm going to send my men in there and we will put you people on camera. Kwasi asam mugu port wo. Munya mojuma na munji pay no na danen kwasi asam. Because now what happens, and they said, yeah, say in Penifono, when they are in their office working hard, trying to make things work, no, na sa ko minin is not a form no akromfono, na omugugu long room ho, and omudin kwasi asam. I've sent about 3 people to the long room. They are extorting money from Ghanaians, omu port. And you see, technology about we will put all of your faces on TV in the long room. The same way, last 2 weeks or a month ago, me catch the finance minister and the GRA boss that this custom officer, Modena Beshe headquarters, sack the guy and take him back to Koforidia. You, the finance minister, and the GRA boss, you people have come together. You want to mess the system up. I've told you. That officer now, more transfer to Koko for Udiana, must have another back Abesha headquarters now, always canon. Because you, the GRA boss, the new GRA boss, your friend is the finance minister, and you people think that you can control everything. That guy, until he's kicked out of that office and back to Koforudia, I am not done. Whoever is the backbone of that guy, I am bigger than that person. Whoever is the backbone of that guy at the port. This guy, we all know, was involved in criminality. What's his name? Mr. S, get me the guy's picture again and get me his name. Mr. P. Sakwan, me catch him say, mon pamano every GRA headquarters. Sack him. That customs officer, take him back to Koforudia because you transferred him to Koforudia. Why have you brought him back? It is you, Atoforsen, and the GRA boss, your commissioner. You are the 2 people conniving with this criminal to work at the headquarters. Move him from there. Atoforsen, why imagine say you are big. Nobody can talk your matter. You have connived with this GRA boss. You, this GRA boss, you were the boss. You had a position at KG, whatever nonsense place you came from. You are entertaining corruption and nonsense. Kick that guy from the headquarters. You gave that guy a letter to be transferred to Koforudia. Atoforsen, move that guy back to Koforudia. Finance minister, also the able be a power. You have seen. I'm saying that officer, Mr. I need his name. I need that guy's picture. It is pissing me off because they are going to make me do some things I'm not supposed to do. What's the guy's name? I have his Mr. P. Get me the name quick, and get me the picture. You, the GRA commissioner, KPMG, you were there, and now you are the GRA commissioner. Now you are there condoning criminality. I told you to sack or send that guy back to Ofori Atta. Ategya Juman Kwana Sakwan Ayewo port for 12 years. You people cannot move him away from the port. Ategya Diapa, why na Eshene Chia Sakwan Nkwa, you cannot take him out from that place. Ategya Nkwana, Ategya Wosian or port where you people cannot transfer him. You transferred the guy and you brought the guy back because Atoforsen and you two people, you want that guy there. Why? And every day I'll put you people, every single day. And the man found to search. Na mesa beka sa asem we. Man first how day we picture number to so. Your friend Kwano, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Man, who am into aso. Where did I put the information? The guy's name, your friend, that officer number the headquarters one, custom officer no. This custom officer, criminal. His name is I have the story, Mr. S. His name is Ofori Atta Edubofo. Thank you. Let me get his picture. You, the GRA commissioner, you and this guy, you are stealing money. You and the finance minister, you are keeping this guy there to be doing some crazy stuff. Get rid of him. Let him leave the headquarters. What do you say, Jimmy Ohu? He needs to leave the headquarters. That's not where he's supposed to be. The auntie said, "On phone from me." August the before this guy. Omuti customs war. He has been at the port for 12 years. You're transferring to Ofori Atta. For some reason, Atoforsen brought him back to headquarters. The GRA boss gave him another letter to come to the port. And I'm I filmed the could see headquarters war and all signed documents and all risk.